Hello. Good morning, fellow teachers. Welcome to the Education Expert Sharing Session brought to you by Score A, Faber-Castell, Malaysia. I'm Wen Ping, your MC this morning, right? Your moderator this morning. So how are you guys, teachers? Teachers can feel free to type in the chat. How are you guys this morning? So, cikgu-cikgu semua, selamat pagi saya ucapkan sekali lagi selamat datang ke sesi perkongsian pakar pendidik yang dianjurkan oleh Score A Faber-Castell. Yes, Cikgu Abdul Razak, good. Cikgu Gore, morning. So teachers, feel free to put in the chat, interact with me. Yes, we will use this Zoom chat to interact as usual. Ya, walaupun kita tidak boleh bersemuka, we cannot face to face yet. Maybe in the future, expert sharing session 2.0, then we can face to face. But in the meantime, we use the Zoom chat a lot to interact, so you can say hi to your fellow colleagues, say hi to fellow teachers over here, rakan seperjuangan cikgu-cikgu lain di sekolah lain, di negeri-negeri lain. So semua di seluruh Malaysia, kita ada di seluruh Malaysia yang join in this Score A sharing session. Hi everyone, yes, Cikgu Noralis. Good morning, Cikgu Ismailiza. Yes, Cikgu Nolaili. Yes, good to see you again. Hello, Cikgu Leleng. Yes, good morning. Selamat pagi. Sangat bersyukur dapat berjumpa dengan cikgu-cikgu sekali lagi dengan expert kita yang ada pada hari ini. Sangat excited. We are very looking forward to today's session. So just a quick one. Have you done the VARC questionnaire that I sent in to the Telegram group? If let's say you have done, type in done. If let's say you have done the VARC questionnaire, yes, Cikgu Abdul Razak, yes, Cikgu Nolaili, done. Awesome, fantastic, yes. Terima kasih Cikgu, respon yang sangat bagus. So harap semua sudah selesai kan questionnaire itu. Nanti expert kita akan sharekan apakah what is the meaning behind all this result. So hopefully you screenshot the result or save somewhere your results, which kind of teacher you are, which kind of learner you are. Later on you can share in the Zoom chat with our expert, our expert Dr. Savita. Later on I'll be introducing her as well. Okay, so without further ado, are you guys ready to start? Fellow teachers, 9:35 now. If you are ready to start, if you are ready, type in ready. I will be doing the introduction once again and then inviting Dr. Savita to be on board. Yes, awesome. Love the energy. Let's start the introduction right now. So once again, welcome all teachers to Creative Learning by Score A Faber-Castell Teachers Edition, and this is our exclusive expert sharing session. We are very, very proud to have the cooperation and also the sokongan dan kerjasama daripada Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia. Right, so pastikan anda sudah join Telegram group. Make sure you are in our Telegram group already. So if you are new, if you haven't joined in this Telegram group, scan this QR code right now, or in the Zoom chat, I also provide you the link. Okay, awesome. Just a quick survey over here, teachers. Which session are you at right now? Is this your fourth session? If this is your fourth session, type in 4. If this is your third session, type in third, 3, right? Which session are you at right now? 2. How many sessions have you completed? You can type in 2, can type in 1 is fine. Yeah, so you can watch it at your own time, at your own pace, right? Once all have done, certificate of participation will be given, right? Okay, 3. First session, teacher LC, no problem. Remember to watch the previous 3 sessions. Later on, I will give you the links as well to remind you, right? After that, you can watch it at your own pace, the previous 3 sessions, right? Okay, most of you are already at the 4th session. Awesome. Cikgu sangat awesome. Okay, moving on. Hopefully you guys have, teachers have prepared some papers, some pencil, some pen to make your notes and something like that, and also telephone bimbit, handphone for snapping picture purpose later on, if let's say there are activities involved. Last one. Why last one? They are next one, teacher. They are next one next week. Okay. All right. Okay. So Education Expert Sharing Session, there are 5 sessions. Just to recap a little bit, we have Encik Zaid session as the first session. visualizing, learning to simplify, engage, and inspire. So Ansijai shared a lot of like how to simplify complicated information into visuals that are very personalized to yourself. Yes, that are very, very effective to learn back, to refer back to the notes. Right, and teacher Valeria, Miss Valeria from Miami, United States, how to use sketchnoting. Sketchnoting, there are different types of sketchnoting can introduce to your students. They can use sketchnotes, right, to support their learning notes as well. We have teacher Louis Cheng, very interesting session. YouTuber, education YouTuber, the insights and sneak peek about how to make video contents for your class students as well. So there's a basic version, there's up-level version, depends on teachers. Feel free to explore as well. So these are the previous three sessions that most teachers have already completed. And moving up next week, 3rd September, we have Mr. Javier Montel from the Houston, United States, top 100 world visionary and leaders in education. We'll bring to you the session about technology, about AR, VR, about metaverse, about various technology that Mr. Javier often use in his session, in his program to share with teachers. So teacher, don't forget to tune in for Mr. Javier session next week. But how about today? What is going on today? So let me do a quick introduction for today's session that about to kickstart, which is very, very interesting as well. So remember, teachers, to mark your calendar. And today we are on 27 August, 9:30 to 11:30, 11:30, about 2 hours, right? And we have our speaker, TS Dr. Savita KS, lecturer, PhD, University Technology, Petronas, HRD Corp trainer and career coach. We brought to you creative teaching, knowing your students via communication cues and learning styles. So Dr. Savita is a lecturer, researcher, supervisor, project manager, trainer, mentor, reviewer, examiner of University Technology Petronas, a multi-versatile roles over there in the university. She's also a HDRF trainer and career coach. She's also a licensed practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. She refers herself as communication risk, creative content creator, conflict solver, positive thinker, transformation advocate, and also a coach. So to me, Dr. Savita is a really, really excellent communicator with a very, very definite amount, with a very, very indefinite amount of empathy. The level is very, very high. So teachers, later on, feel free to ask a lot of questions to Dr. Savita about communication, how to communicate with students, and enjoy the slides, enjoy the presentation and sharing by Dr. Savita. So here are some certifications that Dr. Savita has received. Some of the sharing sessions that not long ago, Dr. Savita has shared with the teachers as well about how to communicate with students, so on and so forth, essential skills of teaching and learning. And some of the testimonials or some of the feedback from students themselves. So those feedback from students themselves are the most genuine one. So for example, this student said, oh, the notes are colorful enough to make you stay awake, right? So feel free to ask Dr. Savita how to make colorful notes like this, how to guide your students to make notes like this, right? Also, ensure the notes are uploaded. Yeah, so their system, Dr. Savita has a system for them to make notes, for them to make mind maps, so on and so forth. So how do we actually incorporate the 10 techniques into our classroom? Dr. Savita later on will share even more. So yes, motivating in studies, active learning tasks, always have active learning tasks, and doing mind map as a learning note, and gain some benefit and very useful in study. These are all the genuine feedbacks from her students. So without further ado, our teachers ready to invite Dr. Savita to be on board today. If let's say you are ready, type in score A, and we will invite Dr. Savita to be on board, right? In a bit. Yes, ready? Yeah? Score A. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, teachers. And without further ado, let us welcome Dr. Savita to be on board and begin her sharing session today. Welcome, Savita.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. How are you today, Dr. Savita?
It's good. It's a Saturday, but I'm so happy to see so many people are very committed today. Thank you so much, dear teachers, to make your time to join me on your weekend. Truly, truly appreciate it a lot.
Yes, and my side and our side, on the behalf of teachers, I want to show this appreciation to Dr. Savita as well, taking your time, your weekend time, your moving day, right? Your moving time, your packing day, right? To join us today and share many useful insights and experiences with the teachers. Yes, teachers in the Zoom chat are welcoming you, saying good morning, good day, right? Very awesome. So just to let our teachers here to get to know Dr. Savita a little bit more. So Dr. Savita, can you like briefly introduce yourself, like your background now, and then like how did you join education line at the first place? What sparks you in this line, in this interest?
All right. So the question gonna bring me back like many years way back. So I'm actually originally from Dungun, Terengganu. All right. So that's where I come from. I come from Terengganu. That is where born and raised up. And upon my graduation of my degree, I joined UTP. So my first job is UTP. I have been with UTP for the last since year 2004 as a trainee lecturer and as a full-time lecturer from year 2006, and now it's 2022. All right, so I've been all the while in the university. What brought me to the education? Actually, I want to be a medical doctor. All right. So my dad was saying to me, being a doctor, then you will not have time for the family. So they pushed me, say, oh, let's be a teacher. So since I have a degree and then I have offer for scholarship, eventually instead of being a teacher, I become a lecturer. So it's the same thing. It's just a different entity that we are working for, right? So that's how my journey as educator start up. But I mean, when I start my career, I was more of an introvert person. So, being an educator, I have my struggles and I grow up to who I am today. And I think now I have a mix of moment of introvert and extrovert. Yeah, that's how little bit about my journey as an educator.
Awesome. So it's also called doctor, just not the medical side. It's also
Yes.
doing something impactful and meaningful. It's also called doctor, but it's an in education line instead.
Correct. I blame my dad still because he does not allow me to become a doctor. So he was like, "No, you already a doctor, but it's just not a medical one. So, but still, you got your dream. You have a doctor in front." I was like, "All right,
But who knows?
that will do for
Right, Dr.
now."
Savita, you're still young. Who knows? You hold a double degree over there in
I
really the
wish, I
medical
wish.
side. So without further ado, I will let Dr. Savita to share with teachers today with your sharing today, right? So teachers, feel free to ask a lot of questions to Dr. Savita. Later on, I will share the Padlet link to you. To me, Dr. Savita is a very excellent communicator, teacher, and also executor, how to execute the learning strategies in her classroom with her students. From the feedback itself, I already know students are receiving benefits from there. So teachers, feel free. Enjoy the sharing session by Dr. Savita. Over to you, Dr. Savita.
Thank you, Memping. Thank you so much. Okay, so today gonna be more of a sharing session about my journey as an educator, my experience, what I have conducted in the class that I hope somehow can benefit all the teachers out here. So I will try to mix a little bit of BM and English in my sharing. But I'm here today. I know all of you have done a great job. All right. So I'm here today just to share what I have done for my class, and maybe if something that clicks with you and you think it can really help you for your teaching, for your learning, or as well as for your student, please include together in your classes. So I'm here today is actually to share my experience. Okay, let me share my slides first. Okay, so I'm gonna have a very casual, informal kind of discussion here. So feel free to ask me questions. Just let me. Okay, can I know if you can see my slide?
So Dr. Savita can look at the chats, right? Teachers are saying yes.
Oh, all right, okay. Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now I see. All right. Sorry. Usually I'm always on Microsoft Teams, so Zoom is this is my second time going into Zoom, so usually we are on Teams. All right. Okay, I know Wimpin is here to assist me. Thank you,
Yes,
Wimpin.
no worries. I'll always be here. And then teachers, feel free to use the Zoom chat a lot to respond to Dr. Savita. Say yes, say 100%, something like that, right? So Dr. Savita will go on. Know that you are here with her as well, right? Okay. So over to you, Dr. Savita.
Thank you. So you can also unmute yourself and ask me question, or give your feedback. I'm good with that. No, not to worry. Okay, so today I'm actually sharing about creative teaching, knowing your student through communication skill and learning style. So this is my journey with my student, that what I have conducted with a student, and how is it very important to know our student, or how to know our learners. All right. As I'm actually from UTP. Okay, so first thing, before I go more on the communication cues and learning style, I want just to bring everyone on about how human communication model it is, all right? Because this will tell you why our students in the class are different, why the teachers are different, why we take information different, we process information different, and one size does not fit all, because all of us are unique in our own way. So just want to bring back to how human communication model is. So this is one component that we talks about NLP. I think you have seen the earlier speaker, next week speaker, he also into NLP, even myself. So what is NLP? NLP is actually divided into the neuro-linguistic and programming. It's actually how our mind and body works together as a system. So if you see, the neuro part is actually our nervous system, the thoughts, the body, the movement, the one that control, it's like a command center that control our own body. Linguistic, from the word linguistic, means is more of the language. But when we talk about language, when we talk about communication, we always think communication is words. But communication is beyond than words. Actually, the most powerful communication is actually the non-verbal cues, which I'm going to cover a little bit, a small portion in my sharing session today. So, and then programming is how our mind being programmed, the way we think, speak, learn, walk. We are different, right? We are very unique on our own way. We are the best creature, the best human being, but we are unique in our own way. And so this is why I'm here today, okay? So this is what I mean by neuro-linguistic programming. Okay, so when in a communication model, when we are communicating with someone, right? When people, sometimes you'll be thinking like, why this person is behaving in certain way? Why their external behavior is like this? It's actually because of the chain reaction. All right, so something happened internally within us, and then that is how we actually respond externally. And then when we are in communication with someone, right? So this is our external, because there's an internal, something going on in our internal response, and then we have our external behavior. Based on our external behavior, the person that we're communicating to will actually consume the information based on our external behavior, put in, and what happened? There's an internal response, then only they respond to us. So when we are communicating with someone, sometimes we ask why this person is reacting in this way. But it's also because as part of the response that we are given to them. So it's a cycle, okay? Internal response and external behavior. So that's how it works. Okay. All right, so I actually shared the video here, but later I will come back to the video. So this is how our brain is working, okay? So how do we process information? Okay, so actually, if all of us know, this entire process happened in split seconds. So probably we never really thought how the information goes in, process, and come out, all right? So how do we take in information, okay? So we take in information using our 5 senses, which is sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste. So roughly, right, if you look back, we have about 4 million bits of information per second. That much of information is going through our mind from the external sources, about 4 million bits per second. Do we process everything? No, we do not. Okay, if we're going to process everything, then we might go crazy. Okay, so we don't process everything. So what happened in that? So that is why our brain has a filter. Okay, we have 3 first filter, which is delete, deletion, distortion, and generalization. Okay, so there is 3 filters. So as the information goes in, we have 3 filters that will filter it. Okay, so deletion, distortion, generalization. After that filter, we have another filter. Okay, this filter we call as programs. Okay, what are they? They could be, our belief system, our values, our memory, our experience that make us to filter the information even further. All right. And whatever that we have filtered, so there's 2 stages of filter, right? This is the first stage, delete, distort. This is the second stage of the filter. After the filter, then we will create that, like they say, a map in our brain, all right? It's how we take it. And then based on that, that's how we react. The way we talk, our physiology, our intonation, our gesture will be reflecting what is in the state of our mind. So that's how our external behavior works. All right. Let me share the video quickly. Let me stop share and reshare again. Okay, now I will come back a bit again for the video. All right, okay, so let's go on. Okay, there is 3 filters. Okay, so there are deletion, distortion, and generalization. Okay, so what happened in deletion? Okay, so this filter is a must. All of us have a filter, but all our filters work uniquely to individual. Okay, so it's not the same. Okay, so but we need to have this filter because we have to filter those information that come in. Okay, it's talking about like million bits per second of information that coming in. Okay, so what is deletion? Okay, deletion is when you are listening something. Like for example, you are listening to me now, all right? And when the information click you or the information has a very high importance to you, that information will be stored in your brain, but the rest of the information you will delete it. That is deletion. Okay, so you yourself process that this is a very important information, so this one we will install, but the rest we delete. Okay, so this is what happened with our student too in the class. So when we are teaching, the student will say, hey, this information very important. Okay, I need to remember. But the rest of the information, they might delete it. Okay, especially when the teacher, like sometimes when I teach my student, I tell, okay, this information be very important. You'll be tested in the exam. Confirm they will remember the information because they will install that one, whatever of highest priority or highest importance, and the rest they will delete it. Okay, then they will say, ayah lupa lah, I forgot lah about that. Cikgu dah ajar ke? Tak kot, cikgu tak cover bagian ni. That's what kind of thing. Okay, so happen lah, sama je. Kalau dalam sekolah ke, dekat dalam universiti ke, the process the same. Okay, learners are still learners. Okay, distortion pula, information masuk tapi we distort the information. Maksudnya cara kita faham information tu different. So one person to another person, pemahaman information tu lain. So bila saya dengar, okay, cikgu explain macam ni ataupun saya explain macam ni, my student A take the information in this way. In this student pula dia kurang faham, so dia akan distort the information, and the information that dia install dekat brain dia tak semestinya akan jadi true because they have distorted the information. Okay. Generalization pula, we dengar lepas tu kita buat conclusion that the information that kalau if it is the same, that information mana-mana situation pun sama sahaja. For example lah, bila kita generalization, bila kita nak buka pintu kan, kita always tell that the pintu, cara buka pintu daripada kita pegang handle dia memang daripada kiri ke kanan. Okay, so that is our generalization. So bila kita nampak pintu je, terus tangan tolak. Padahal pintu tu this time buka-buka macam ni. Dia buka daripada kiri, daripada kanan ke kiri. Betul cakap, alah pintu ni salah. Cara installnya salah. Sebab kita dah buat generalization that all the doors should open in this angle. That is example of generalization. Ataupun macam my son kan, masa dia kecil umur 2-3 tahun, got chased by a dog. Okay, so got chased by a dog, create him a phobia. So sekarang bila dia tengok, walaupun dia dah anak ayam besar yang kena chase the dog when he was 2 years old, now he's 15 tahun. Tapi he will never go near to any of the dog because he conclude that all the dog are the same. If I go near, the dog akan bite me. Okay, so that is an example of generalization. So bila student-student kita duduk dalam kelas, murid-murid kita duduk dalam kelas, even though we deliver the same information, every student take the information in differently sebab kita ada filter, deletion, distortion and generalization. Okay, example lah, saya dengan my best friend, okay, Wimping know my best friend, Dr. Mano, she used to be a speaker for the talk also, Education Summit. So we are very different. Okay, satu, because we have different learning style, which I gonna cover later. And I pula yang kalau duduk dalam training, duduk dalam workshop ni, I akan bila I duduk, I dengar, I mean, I will take so many information, I'm like, my deletion is quite less. Tapi for my friend Dr. Mano ni, dia macam alah ni tak penting lah, delete. Eventually lepas tu kita balik dekat ni, kita study for the exam, then she be like, betul ke the trainer have covered this part? I cannot remember, I never hear what happened. But I remember those details because my deletion filter does not delete most of the information. I take it because I consider everything is important. But for her, ni tak penting lah, this is very simple lah dia. So eventually, dia punya amount of information that they deleted is different level than mine. So same goes what happened in the class with our own student, with our own children, because we are also parents kan. So same goes with our kids. It happened the same thing. Okay, so programs. Program ni, okay, so lepas 3 filter tu kan, kita ada filter, delete, distort, generalize. Lepas tu kita ada another filter dalam brain kita ni. So masa ni, lepas kita delete ni, kita akan tengok balik, okay, what is our belief system? What is our values, our experience, our attitude, our upbringing, our culture, our religion, belief. Those are another round of filters. Then barulah kita create the final map in our brain. Then only from that we process and we do the reaction, external behavior. Macam cakap, banyaknya she explain, tapi all the action happen in few seconds. Yes, all these things happen in second that we might overlook that this, but this is exactly what is the process happen, how our brain take information and how our brain process the information and how our external behavior is a response of our internal response. It happened in a split second, but this tell you why all of us are unique in their own way, why our students are different, why they react differently, why they take information differently, why they process the information differently. Okay, not they are bad student or they are good student. They are just different and unique in their own ways. Okay, but when you are aware that we have this filter, can we make better of it? Can we make it flexible? Yes, because when we are aware there are such filters, we can adapt to the situation. Macam my friend Dr. Mano, even though she like to delete information, but when she sits in the training and she knows that this training is very crucial, information semua penting, so she tend to reduce her deletion, try to store more information to help her to sit for the professional paper examination. So awareness tu sangat penting, okay? Tapi budak-budak ni, budak macam our student dalam kelas tu, maybe they are small kids. So it's a process they will take, but they can improvise as we go. Tapi kalau kita tak aware, kita tak akan perasan benda ni semua, even though we are an elder. Okay, satu lagi is this rule of personal communication. Okay, so bila kita talk about communication, sebelum saya buat NLP ni, bila fikir pasal communication, we talk about the words kan, okay, cara kita present the words, what we say, the wording tu penting. Tapi actually communication ni ada 3 bahagian, okay. Ada bahagian verbal, which is the words that we use. Lepas tu kita ada voice tone, modulation, macam our pauses kan, kita punya intonation, kita pause in between. Lepas tu kita ada body movement, macam kita punya gesture kan, hand gesture, macam tadi saya punya tangan berterbangan di sana dari sini kan, macam ni. So it's something like that, and I smile, and you know, I try to engage my audience. So the communication ni more than just words, okay, it's very important sebab if you see dekat sini, in pie chart ni, words in the communication, words only take 7%. So katakan you bercakap dengan someone else or your student. Okay, you cakap tapi you duduk depan kelas kan, kita duduk depan kelas, saya pun dekat depan kelas juga. So bila katakan saya berdiri, saya bercakap tapi saya tak ada intonation, tak ada pause, lepas tu straight, tak ada body movement, just macam ni 1 jam duk cakap. Apa akan diterima oleh student kita hanya 7% sahaja daripada 100%. Sebab perkataan sahaja tanpa voice tone, pauses, body movement hanya akan diterima sebagai 7% sahaja. So kalau kita mengajar dekat depan but we don't have the 30 and 55, the student only receive 7% of what we have been talking in that 1 hour. So katakan cikgu mengajar 7%, mengajar lepas tu ada intonation, pauses, ada body gesture, movement, interaction, then student kita akan dapat 7% campur 38 campur 55. Sebab ingat student kita dah lah kita ada filter yang akan delete, distort, generalize. Lepas tu katakan kita bercakap dengan student kita, kita tak include pula 38% ni, kita tak include pula 55%. So maksudnya student kita akan terima hanya 7%. So sebab tu kadang-kadang kita pergi, kita cakap, alah cikgu ni sangat monotonous lah. Okay, ataupun even kita pun pergi training kan, kadang-kadang kita pergi training, kita macam alah baru setengah jam dah nak tertidur dah. Kenapa? Sebab maybe the trainer ataupun the speaker tu, dia cakap je, tapi tak ada pauses, tak ada voice tone, tak ada body movement, straight je macam robot macam tu kan. So dia akan affect kita punya concentration sebab brain will stop taking the information in. Okay, sebab remember we take information through 5 senses. Alright. Okay, lepas tu kita ada communication model. Yang ni lah yang akan membawa kenapa saya suruh try yang buat learning style ni. Kenapa learning style ni sangat penting lah untuk saya. So biasanya dalam kelas saya akan buat learning style dengan personality type. Tapi personality type ni soalan ni banyak sangat. So nanti kalau saya bagi link, cikgu-cikgu semua stres. Sebelum masuk kelas saya dah stres dah. Banyaknya soalan nak kena jawab kan. So saya bagilah learning style. A basic one, at least learning style. Untuk tahu pasal diri kita. Dan nanti cikgu-cikgu boleh guna juga link untuk suruh student kita pula buat. Tengok macam mana student kita punya learning style. Okay, sekarang kita punya generation dah berubah. Saya mengajar kat UTP ni pada tahun 2004 sampai 2022. Sekarang punya budak-budak lain dengan budak-budak dulu. Okay, so cara kita mengajar dulu dengan sekarang tak boleh sama. So learning will not take place. So same goes dekat university. Kita orang buat macam banyak activity, active learning, macam you all learn Part 21, all those things. Tapi we are very extreme in doing this to meet our generation gap. And also our latest generation who born in digital world. Okay, so sebab tu kita kena adapt. So cara yang sama tak akan berfungsi untuk budak-budak sekarang. Bukan budak-budak ni tak pandai, tapi cara kita tu maybe tak ngam lah dengan budak-budak zaman sekarang. Okay, so in terms of communication model ni, basic kita ada 4 representational system, which is visual, auditory, kinesthetic, auditory, digital. Apakah ini? So visual ni, kalau kita tengok nama visual maksudnya image. Kita ni jenis yang suka visualize things dalam image, kita suka tengok gambar. Maybe we'll remember things or we learn better through gambar-gambar visual based. Auditory ni pula kita create sound, we learn better. Maybe these are maybe yang boleh dengar podcast kan. Ataupun we try to remember the sound and the sound will tell you the content, for example. Kinesthetic ni ada satu touch, internal sensation, movement. Okay, sekarang ramai budak-budak sekarang adalah kinesthetic actually. Sebab tu budak-budak tak boleh duduk diam dalam kelas. Okay, whether budak tu primary ke, secondary ke, university sama saja. Sebab masuk secondary kan, lepas output daripada input output of primary to secondary. Output of secondary is to the university. So dekat universiti kita terima budak yang sama juga. And kita observe daripada zaman dulu, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago and now, budak-budak sekarang are very kinesthetic in nature. Dia orang tak boleh duduk lama-lama lah dalam kelas. Atas kerusi tu memang tak boleh lama. Nanti dia akan tetap fokus lah. tu memang standard sekarang. Budak-budak sekarang macam itulah, boleh can see. Sebab kalau you buat learning style tu, you boleh tengok they are very kinesthetic in nature. Lepas tu kita ada satu lagi ialah auditory digital. Auditory digital ni macam simple way nak cakap, simple way is like macam orang yang have internal dialogue. Kita cakap dalam hati. So you self talk to your own self, macam okay, dalam hati lah ni, macam macam mana ni, macam tu. So dalam hati, cakap dalam hati. So this how we have our representational system ni. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic dan auditory digital. Okay, kalau saya laju tolong let me know dan saya slow down. Okay. Okay, lepas tu eye assessing cue ni. Yang ni yang saya my favorite lah kalau eye assessing cue ni. Okay. Kenapa dia I punya favorite? Sebab kita duduk depan mengajar student kita tengok student kita kadang-kadang tengok ke kiri, kadang-kadang tengok ke kanan, kadang-kadang tengok ke atas, kadang tengok ke bawah. So kita marah dia, kenapa budak-budak yang tengok semua tempat tapi tak tengok dekat kita kat depan ni? Okay. Actually, the eye movement has a meaning to it. Okay, there is a meaning to the eye movement. Tapi sebab eye movement ni kadang-kadang budak tu duduk jauh, kita kurang nampak lah mata kan sebab dia boleh happen in split second. Tapi ada setengah budak ni, dia bukan eye je move, dengan kepala-kepala dia bergerak. Okay, lepas tu tengok semua tengok ke atas. Okay, so there is a reason to it. There's a reading to it. Okay, bila kita tengok eye assessing cue ni, kita tak tahu, we do not know what they think. Okay, we do not know what they are thinking. But we will know how are they thinking. So bila kita tengok pergerakan mata ni, kita akan tahu how they think, but not what they think. Okay, tak tahulah what is there in their mind kan. So what tu tak boleh jawab, tapi how tu kita boleh. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, let me come back to here. Okay, so katakan bila kita tengok bola mata ni bergerak ke sebelah kanan kan, right. Maksudnya kalau dia tengok ke atas dan ke kanan, maksudnya dia try to visualize, visual constructed. Katakan cikgu cakap, okay, sekarang visualize seekor gajah ada pink icing atas. Okay, so sample language, think of an elephant covered in a pink icing. So you akan kalau you betul-betul perasan, you tengok budak-budak, student kita ataupun siapa-siapa yang kita communicate with on opposite, dia punya mata akan ke atas dan ke kanan because they are assessing the brain, and in the brain they are constructing the image. Okay, ni gambar elephant, lepas tu ada pink icing dekat atas. Okay, whatever to be constructed will be on the right side. Okay, so kita tengok orang tu kan, so on the right side. Okay, so katakan bila cikgu cakap, okay, think of your partner face. Okay, think about your mother face. So benda tu dah, memory dah ada, rupa mak dia dah ada dalam fikiran dia. So bila cikgu kata, think of your partner face. So this is when dia akan tengok ke atas tapi ke kiri. So ke kiri tu dia visually remember. So kalau cikgu dekat depan, cikgu cakap, okay budak-budak ingat tak semalam cikgu ngajar ni. Kalau betul-betul perasan, tengok mata dia orang akan ke atas dan ke kiri. Sebab dia nak fikir, apalah cikgu ngajar semalam, tak ingat-ingat. So dia try to remember. So that is visual remember. Okay, alright. Okay, so and katakan dia blank stare, maksudnya dia tengok kita je. Kita panggil ni kalau tengok ke depan je is visual defocus. So maksudnya dia maybe tak remember, dia tak fokus. Dia maybe just looking, trying to process the information, taking in through the information, being filtered. Okay, tapi dia tak remember, dia tak construct lagi. Okay, so kalau kita tengok auditory ni kat sini. So kalau budak-budak cikgu kata, dengar tak bunyi yang cikgu ajar semalam pakai recorder tu. So dia akan, mata dia akan bergerak, sama dia remember ataupun dia construct, tapi dia punya alignment tu sama ear level. Dia tak tengok ke atas lah, dia ke sini ataupun ke sini. So sebab dia auditory telinga. Okay. Lepas tu kadang-kadang kita tengok budak-budak tengok ke bawah. Saya tengok, even my student lah dalam kelas ni kan, memang obvious kan. Kadang ada budak ni dia tengok ke bawah. Okay, tengok ke bawah. Apa berlaku dekat bila dia tengok ke bawah ni? Kalau dia tengok ke bawah, ke sebelah kiri, auditory internal dialogue. Okay, so maksudnya ni dia talk to ourselves, macam tengok ke bawah ke kiri, apalah cikgu hari ni mengajar aku tak faham juga, ataupun lepas ni nak pergi makan apa, nak McDonald ke. So dia ada internal dialogue, maybe not relevant to what we taught, but they are doing self-talk inside themselves. So kadang-kadang ada budak tengok ke bawah dan ke kiri sebab dia self-talk, ataupun dia macam kena marah dengan cikgu, lepas tu dia rasa sangat sedih. So dia tengok ke bawah, ke kiri sebab dia assessing the hati kan. Walau hari ni cikgu punish saya, so saya sangat sedih. Macam ni. So dia tengok ke bawah dan ke kiri. Okay, so dia assessing the hearts. Cakap dalam hati. Betul tak? Sebab in Malaysian kita pakai cakap dalam hati. Sebab this is considered hati lah. Sebab tu dia ke sebelah kiri. Okay. Tapi kalau kita tengok kinestetik pun sama. Kinestetik kalau sebelah kanan ni dia more of feeling, touches, sensation on the kinesthetic. So left self-talk, okay, dia talk. Tapi kadang-kadang dalam bila kita emotional pun kita tengok ke bawah, ke sebelah kanan on the kinesthetic part. Okay, so bila saya tahu, saya belajar pasal ni, saya tahu sebelum ni. So lepas tu bila saya pergi kelas, saya mengajar. So bila saya mengajar, saya tengok saya punya student punya external behavior. Macam mana dia reaction bila I ngajar dia orang. Tengok dia orang punya mata ke, setengah budak dia bukan mata je lah, kepala terus naik macam ni. Apalah cikgu aku ngajar hari ni. Okay. So bila I tengok macam tu, I duduk kat depan sebab kelas I besar. I ada smaller class is 30, bigger class is about 100 plus. Okay, in one sitting. So kalau kelas yang besar-besar 100 ni kadang-kadang susah juga kita nak tengok. Tapi sebab we ada buat a group activity. So that's one way how we can observe our student. So as an instructor or as a teacher or as a lecturer, bila kita buat group work for student kita taklah duduk kat depan sahaja. Kita kena berjalan, tengok student kita lalu sini lalu sana, sebab masa itulah kita boleh observe macam mana student kita punya situation. Dia faham ke tak faham. So bila saya mengajar kat depan, so saya memang fokus. Okay, macam mana reaction student saya ni? Yang tengok ke atas, tengok ke bawah, tengok ke kiri, apa masalah? Sebab kadang-kadang bila kita tanya budak-budak, sebab bila saya mengajar, saya selalu tanya, faham tak? Do you understand? Yes, understand. Tapi dia punya communication model dia kan, dia punya fisiologi dia, body gesture dia, eye assessing cue dia, tak matching dengan perkataan yang dia cakap. Dia kata, I understand. Tapi muka berkerut-kerut. Lepas tu asyik tengok ke atas, try to remember, try to construct. So, body physiology dengan words yang keluar daripada mulut is unmatched. So, it tells you that your student does not understand. Tapi maybe dia malu nak cakap depan kawan-kawan dia yang dia tak faham. So, bila habis je sekolah, berpusu-pusu semua orang datang kat depan cikgu, saya, Madam, I want to ask you this and this and this and this. So, biasalah budak-budak kan. So, sebab tu kalau kelas saya habiskan saya punya kelas 10 minit awal, sebab saya tahu 10 minit lepas tu, semua akan datang ke depan nak tanya soalan. Padahal soalannya sama je. Kalau seorang tanya, padahal satu kelas tahu. Tapi ada yang self-conscious. Kalau tanya soalan ni, is it going to make me look stupid? Or is this question going to be bothering my friends? So, dia orang tak nak tanya soalan tu. Dia tunggu juga sampai habis kelas baru nak tanya soalan. Okay, this is at the university level. This is based on my experience. So, this is what happened. Okay, so as an instructor, as a lecturer, as a teacher, we must be aware of our student, our learning. Kita kena be aware. Okay, so kita tak boleh hanya ke kelas hanya nak habis syllabus. Kita nak make sure that learning take place. If they have trouble, we will not need to address those trouble by reading non-verbal cue. Those communication cue kan, tapi kita tengok non-verbal punya. So non-verbal kat sini, saya tengok apa? Saya tengok eye assessing cue. Saya tengok dia punya body gesture. Okay, so these are the few things. Actually banyak non-communication cue ni banyak, tapi saya cover hanya 2-3 sahaja hari ini. Okay, lagi satu yang saya favorite is tonality. Okay, so satu lagi masa saya tengok eye assessing cue ni dekat universiti, bila kita buat exam, kita buat dalam hall yang besar, tahu tak? So as a chief examiner on that day, I akan duduk dekat atas stage. So masa tu very interesting to observe student. Sebab dia orang nak cuba remember kan, nak tulis dalam ni. So dia tengok ke atas, tengok ke kiri, tengok ke kanan, remember, construct. That's a very obvious movement, especially during examination time, and I sit on the stage. boleh tengok this movement. What they are doing? They're trying to construct, they're trying to remember, dan dia tulis jawapan dia. Okay, yang memang tak boleh tulis, dia tak tengok ke atas lah, dia tengok ke bawah, dia kata, bila aku fail lah kali ni. Macam tu. Okay, so self-talk or dia ada emotional kinesthetic already, has emotion to it. Okay, this is typically what happened to each of us, tapi kita tak aware benda ni berlaku. Kita ingat kita je sahaja yang buat reaction ni, padahal it is studied and is presented, and you know, if you are in this field, you tahu. So today I want to create this awareness to all the teachers. Okay. Alright, satu lagi is tonality. Okay, tonality ni actually cara kita buat, cara kita percakapan, kita punya tone ni ada meaning. Cuba kita tak perasan. Sebelum saya belajar ni, saya pun tak perasan. Saya selalu macam, for example, kalau nak bagi command to my son, my children kan, I terus naikkan suara at the end of my sentence. Tak. Bila you naikkan suara you at the end of your sentence, the brain does not process as a command. The brain process as a question. Patutlah sebelum ni, bila saya bagi, saya kata kat my child kan, I macam make a statement tapi I raise my voice. The perkataan yang terakhir dalam sentence, so saya naikkan suara. Tu anak saya tanya, so nak buat macam mana, mak? So macam ni tak faham-faham juga budak ni, dah berapa kali dah cakap. Padahal the brain is processing as a question mark, not an escalation mark. So sebab tu dia tanya balik soalan tu ke saya, nak confirm, you want me to do an A or you want me to do a B? Padahal saya suruh buat tu A, tapi dia tak faham. Sebab untuk dia, the brain process it as a question, not a command. So a very powerful tone is actually bila you nak send as a question, bila you talk, intonation, bila you naikkan towards the end of your sentence, your tone tu ke atas, it is a question mark. Tapi kalau dia straight, monotonous macam tu, is a statement. Tapi if you want a command, actually intonation towards the end of the sentence has to go down. Then the brain process it as a command. So kalau kita fikir yang kita menjerit-jerit dekat student kita, menjerit-jerit kat anak kita tu, dia take it as a command, tak. Kadang-kadang dia confused. Ni question ke, command ke, statement. So doesn't mean raising the voice to the kids or to the student or you know to whoever we communicate does not means that you are giving a command. You might even confuse them even more. Okay, so this is when dia tak tahu mana satu nak kena buat. Because that's how our brain is processing it. Okay, so there's a very big difference between question and command. So bila I mula-mula belajar ni, macam, oh terkejut. Patutlah setiap kali I menjerit kat anak I, dia tak faham-faham. Rupanya dia take it as a question. He don't take it as a command coming from me. But when I talk slow and I reduce my command, oh dia kata, oh okay, mak nak suruh I buat ni rupanya, okay. Okay, but it come with the practice. If you ask me, tonality ni senang ke? Dia tak sesenang macam tu sebab kita dah biasa buat cara praktis kan. Kita selalu macam when we want things to come forward, we want to stress it, what we do, we increase our tone. Tone kita akan jadi high pitch terus sebab nak tunjuk we empower, you better listen to me, this is my command. Padahal the brain does not process in that way. So it takes a lot of practice and I'm still practicing about this until today because this is not something yang biasa kita buat. Okay, so tak senang tapi kita boleh perlahan-perlahan buat. Okay, so that is everything about non-verbal, about communication cue on how our brain process, macam mana kita ada 3 filter, lepas tu kita ada filter on call programs, lepas tu I share little bit on 3 powerful non-verbal assessing cue, eye assessing cue, tonality, and also about body gesture. Is very important to have body gesture along with our words. Okay, a powerful statements or powerful conversation, it comes with words 7%, intonation 38%, body gesture 55%. Okay, all right, so with that I'm going to move to second part of it, which is on the active learning and team-based learning. Okay, yang ni is what I do in my class also. Okay, so I think maybe cikgu-cikgu pernah dengar perkataan, sorry, ada soalan?
Saya rasa saya dengar ada cikgu punya anak mungkin ada soalan, tapi tak apa. We let the questions to be at the end.
Okay, alright. Okay, alright, then I will continue. Okay, so I think, I'm sure cikgu-cikgu dah dengar perkataan teacher-centered learning, student-centered learning. Ini bukan perkataan baru. I'm very sure you have exposed. I know teacher goes for so many training, in-house, externally. So teacher are very much exposed to. So in the university, we are going full force on student-centered learning. So we have been, for I think dekat dalam UTP kan, for the last macam 10 years and last 5 years, memang we are very rapid. The university invests a big amount of money to train all of the lecturers in the university to look into student-centered learning, what are the method of learning, the right methodology, the right implementations, is even tied to our KPI. Okay, so every single thing that we do teaching and learning is tied to our key performance indicator. Macam mana kita buat dalam kelas kita, how it impact our student, the measurement, the benchmarking, semua tu dalam KPI kita. So kalau kita tak meet, automatically KPI pun habislah. Okay, so not only they do it because, but they also tied to our performance appraisal. Okay, that is how the changes is happening in the university. Okay, and dia ada refresh course lah, katakan 2 tahun lepas you dah pergi active learning, lepas 2 tahun dia panggil balik suruh bayar, you refresh back your memory. Kalau ada new methodology, we will be trained on new methodology. So we really highly support for this. Even now, I realized last year dengan this year, the university are investing to create a smart classroom juga. So bila dia orang ada budget sekarang, dia orang buat smart classroom. You know, you have multiple TVs and projector around the class. So bila budak-budak duduk the round now, budak-budak dalam their special class now in UTP, where it's very colourful, kursinya berwarna berlainan-lainan, lepas tu dia banyak projector, so and everybody will sit in a round table. So no matter, I will be standing in front with my screen, but the student not necessarily looking at me at the front, because all of them have projector around. Macam kalau bilik tu yang boleh fit about 100 student, I think they got about 8 TV lah, macam TV. So bila mengajar kat depan, student tak tengok you dah lepas ni, student tengok projector yang paling dekat dengan dia. Okay, so this is what happened in the smart classroom, because the one that looking all at the front to the teacher is the more of the traditional learning. Okay, and sekarang memang last time we have a lot of whiteboard, tapi sekarang dia pakai start moving towards smart board. Betul tak cikgu? Boleh start drawing, all those things, and things can be saved. So they are investing now in terms of those technology. Other than that too, UTP pun kita invest a lot on pakai augmented reality, virtual reality to do for teaching. Katakan budak-budak engineering belajar pasal machine. Okay, kalau setengah tu machine tu ada dekat UTP, tapi ada machine tu is not in UTP, so they will create into virtual augmented reality, so they can still study on the machine. Budak-budak katakan belajar yang offshore, okay, so dia kena pergi oil rig, they cannot be going oil rig, so they create a virtual reality, they have a VR room in UTP where they will wear the headset and they will be in the real environment. Okay, so kalau cikgu-cikgu nak melawat UTP, let me know lah, so maybe I can arrange some to come to see this kind of technology that we have at the university. Okay, so we invested a lot for teaching and learning, to give the best to our student and follow the changes with the children generation, cara mengajar semua tu we work very hard towards that. Okay, so here, so sekarang dekat UTP ni kita buat student centered. Okay, so I faham dekat UTP ni our kids are grown up, okay, more grown up, so there are things yang kita boleh buat dekat full force at the university, but maybe we cannot do that all in primary. So dia ada benda yang kita boleh buat sikit dekat primary, little bit more in secondary and more in the university. So we understood that the limitation, but whatever that can be done, kita ambil, kita buat. Apa yang tak boleh sebab budak-budak tu kecil kan, they are not mature, they maybe cannot be 100% student-centered learning, because in the university the kids are more of an elder already. But we can do this, okay. Alright, so this student center, we want student participation. Okay, sorry to say, macam I perasan bila budak-budak masuk universiti, bila kita sebab kita buat student center, bila kita buat student center ni, kita nak student kita bercakap. We want them to ask. When I go to the class, I keep asking question. Okay, macam ni, okay, you punya opinion, tapi tak ada seorang pun buka mulut. Kenapa jadi macam tu? So what I observe is that in my child lah, in my child specifically, sebab I tak tahu tempat lain kan, in my child. Okay, in my child, especially like macam for example, masa dia pergi kindergarten, cikgu kat kindergarten pun suruh selalu jawab soalan. Tapi bila dia pergi sekolah rendah, sekolah menengah, especially sekolah rendah lah, cikgu-cikgu akan cakap, okay, do not talk in the class, listen to me. Do not talk in the class, listen to me. So eventually the student, I realized not all, but some of them, they have transformed. And then when they come to the university, they do not have the self-confidence to talk out. Kita akan push them sebab setiap kelas, setiap minggu, setiap subjek ada presentation, ada Q&A. Tapi they very hard to open their mouth. And if they're going to open their mouth tu, dia tak akan buka mulut dengan kawan-kawan dalam kelas. Dia akan personally cari you. So it's very important that we encourage our student from the school time, from young, macam daripada rumah lah, bukan daripada sekolah saja, daripada rumah, always encourage them to respond to us, to talk to us, get them more creative. Creative thinking tu sangat penting. Sebab kalau tak, I perasan ramai student bila sampai ke university, they suffer to follow the new education system at the university level. So something that I observe lah based on my child and the student that I have in the university for the last dah 16 tahun ke 20 tahun dah macam tu. Okay, so it's very important that we act as facilitator, kita bagi ongoing feedback. It's not all about finishing syllabus. Kita nak make sure learning take place. Finishing syllabus does not mean the student learn. We must know the student learn by through activity, feedback, talking to them. That's how we know learning take place. Because for me, finishing syllabus ataupun get A in the exam does not mean learning take place, because we can remember the facts and we dump the facts during the examinations, and doesn't mean learning take place. So this is my opinion. So masa okay, so let me go further. I think I got limited time. Okay, lepas tu I move on with flipped classroom. So flipped classroom ni is another method that I use, di mana student akan diberi material sebelum datang ke kelas. Okay, so maksudnya saya akan bagi, biasa saya guna YouTube video lah. I think all of us are using a lot kan YouTube video, especially during COVID time. So akan katakan nak belajar pasal science, lupa lah apa belajar kat sekolah rendah sekarang. Okay, so katakan belajar a topic lah. Okay, I see my son belajar science pasal say on the plants. So I gave some videos to them first. So I akan bagi video, suruh dia tengok video tu sebelum datang ke kelas. Tapi bila dia tengok video tu, saya menggunakan teknik mind map. So saya cakap dekat student, okay, bila you dengar video tu, you buat mind map. Okay, do I have a specific way to do mind map? No, I told the student, you do the mind map according to your preference. Sebab siapa nak belajar lepas tu? Siapa nak tengok mind map tu? Budak tu sendiri. So bila dalam ada budak yang akan guna mind map yang suka melukis-lukis, right? And there are student yang buat mind map tapi dia banyak tulis perkataan. Saya okay. Ya, cara ni pun boleh, cara ni pun boleh. As long learning take place. My concern is only one. Learning must take place and you learn. So budak-budak akan dengar video, dia akan buat mind map. Kenapa? Kalau dia dengar video saja, fokus tak akan di sana. So dia akan, okay, habis ya dengar video, dengar. Apa belajar? Tak tahu. So saya akan suruh dia buat short note, buat notes tapi dah bentuk mind map. Lepas tu datang ke kelas. Bila datang ke kelas, okay. So macam lebih kurang macam ni, okay? So dia akan dia akan buat ni. So before pre-class, this is in the simple way lah. Saya akan share the material. Dia akan study kat rumah, lepas tu dia akan buat mind map. Okay. And then bila dia datang ke kelas, apa berlaku bila datang kelas, dia akan bawa mind map tu ke kelas. Okay. So mind map tu bawa ke kelas, lepas tu kadang-kadang saya akan buat test, nak tahu apa dia faham. I want to know whether learning take place. Tak banyak pun, maybe tanya soalan quiz, 2-3 soalan pun cukup. Okay. Lepas tu katakan I dah letak dari dalam group, saya akan buat 2 kali. Satu dengan individu, satu dalam group. Tapi kadang-kadang saya buat individual sahaja. Tanyalah 2-3 soalan, bagi soalan objektif lah kan. Bagi soalan objektif, tengok faham tak? Macam mana result dia orang. So kadang-kadang kita orang pakai Kahoot lah, senang. On the spot you tahu result tu keluar. Lepas tu tanya student, okay, you dah dengar video ni, dah buat mind map. Bagaimana you tak faham? bagaimana you nak cikgu stres lebih sikit. So dia akan cakap, katakan budak-budak kecil maybe dia tak boleh takat apa dia faham, dia tak faham. So cikgu akan ajar balik topik tu. Bila cikgu ajar topik tu, saya akan cakap dekat student saya, okay, bila cikgu mengajar kat depan, saya mengajar kat depan, apa information yang baru tak ada dalam mind map you masukkan informasi tu ke dalam mind map you. Sebab mind map ni untuk saya is a living document. Dokumen yang bernyawa. Okay, living document. So dia bukan sekali buat, dia boleh ditambah-tambahkan information tu. So sama. Lepas tu lepas habis kelas saya akan bagi balik soalan yang sama, soalan kuis yang sama yang 3 saya buat dekat pre-test tu, soalan sama saya akan buat dekat post-test. Sebab masa saya buat pre-test tu saya tak bagi jawapan lagi. So buat pula dekat post-test lepas habis kelas. Tengok nampak tak beza. Kadang-kadang kita tak dapat keputusan tu immediately. So lepas kelas cikgu boleh check. Okay, budak ni sebelum pre-test macam mana? Dapat semua salah. Lepas cikgu dah mengajar dapat 2 betul daripada 3 ataupun semua 3 betul. So kita nak monitor kan sama ada learning ni take place ke tak. Okay, so saya akan cakap ke student, so sebelum masuk kelas dah buat mind map. Dengan cikgu tengok YouTube video, buat mind map, masuk kelas bila cikgu mengajar, apa informasi tak ada, tambah dalam mind map tu. Okay. Lepas tu bila balik rumah buat revision. Bila buat revision, terjumpalah informasi yang terbaru, boleh tambah lagi dalam mind map tu. So this is cara saya buat dalam kelas saya. Okay. So dalam dekat sekolah cikgu-cikgu bolehlah modify to fit the environment, to fit the content, to fit the requirement ke, betul tak? Sebab kita ada limitation kita juga kan, kita kena finish syllabus, dia orang nak buat activity dalam buku. So kita tengok macam mana. So kalau cikgu tanya saya, okay dekat universiti cikgu, saya buat macam ni setiap minggu sebab satu semester hanya 12 minggu. Tapi dekat sekolah darjah 1 tahun. Okay, so macam mana? Bukan tiap-tiap subjek, setiap chapter. So saya cakap ini kreativiti cikgu. So maybe cikgu hanya nak buat mind map ni untuk topik yang sangat susah. Budak-budak nak faham, sangat susah. So cikgu boleh ambil saya punya idea ni. Okay, katakan ada satu topik, even dia matematik ke, dia sains ke, dia sejarah, ada satu topik ni memang susah. Student selalu confused, tak boleh ingat. Yang tu kita boleh buat method mind map ni. Bagi video sebelum masuk ke sekolah, ataupun bagi note supaya baca, datang kelas, bawa mind map, tambah information, balik rumah buat revision, tunjuk mind map. Lepas tu mind map tu kena tunjuk ke cikgu. Kalau tak tunjuk ke cikgu, tak tahulah mana mind map tu pergi. Sama, saya dekat universiti pun saya buat progress assessment. Lepas 5 minggu, budak-budak kena hantar semua mind map tu kepada saya akan check satu-satu dan bagi markah. Saya believe in reward system. Okay, so walaupun dia cantik ke tak cantik ke, setiap orang are unique. The way they present the information are different. Okay, so that is one suggestion lah kalau nak buat untuk sekolah kan. Kita tak naklah buat benda yang lepas tu too heavy loaded untuk budak-budak, heavy loaded untuk teacher. Sebab kita sebagai educator ni, I tahu betapa heavy loadednya kita sebagai educator dekat universiti ke, dekat sekolah ke, kita banyak administrative work that we have to do too. So we will do something yang within affordable level lah kan, maybe nak tolong student-student maybe untuk topik-topik yang sangat susah, right? So lepas tu saya pun buat juga student portfolio ni. So kadang-kadang apa saya suruh buat, dia boleh buat e-portfolio pakai online ataupun boleh buat hard copy portfolio. So saya akan suruh student cari file, letak dia punya detail, saya akan tanya student, okay letak all the result dalam tu, you punya mind map dalam tu. Lepas tu you hantar folder tu kepada saya untuk buat assessment dan bagi markah. So untuk saya yang paling penting ialah dia buat mind map tu untuk apa, sama ada content cantik ke tak, list that I look at. Tapi I nak push them to do the mind map. So the mind map ni boleh part of the student portfolio. So kadang-kadang saya akan suruh student buat mind map, masukkan dalam portfolio dan submit to me. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna skip on this. Okay, so ni example saya. So dalam universiti, walaupun budak-budak ni dia are elder, dia grown up, tapi we are very systematic. We give instruction all in writing. So kita tak macam datang kelas, okay hari ni budak buat main, lepas tu macam anak saya kadang-kadang balik sekolah, dia kata cikgu suruh buat ni. Bila tanya lagi, tak pasti, tak sure. So even in the university, even though my student is 21 years old, everything is systematic and structured. Everything is in written form. Apa step by step. Kalau tengok sana, ni budak ni saya mengajar final year, final sem student So tulis each student apa nak kena buat, lepas tu nak buat apa, lepas tu macam mana. Okay, lepas tu setiap kali dia buat mind map tu dia kena buat reflection. Dia kena tanya pula, what is the most memorable or stand out that happen during the class? Apa konsep yang paling penting dia kena buat. Lepas dia siap mind map, dia akan buat reflection. Okay, yang ni saya belajar. Sebab tu tadi Peng ada tunjuk you some reflection, example of reflection. Okay. Lepas tu example, so this ada about 6 question lah. Memorable, what is important, what are the interesting question that you have but you didn't ask yet or become unanswered. Macam mana you nak relate topik hari ni dengan topik semalam. Okay, sebab kadang-kadang dekat universiti pun student dia belajar 5 subjek untuk 12 minggu. 12 minggu ada 5 subjek. Tapi dia orang tak nampak connection subjek A, subjek ni dengan subjek ni. So sebab tu kadang-kadang kita nak suruh dia reflect. Macam mana topik ni relate dengan topik ni. Lepas tu topik ni relate macam mana dengan subjek lagi satu. Sebab it's all a package. Tapi bila kita ajar, kita divide it into a subject. So kadang-kadang kita buat aktiviti panggil cooperative learning. Maksudnya budak-budak ni ambil 2 subjek berlainan tapi satu projek. For example, katakan sekolah rendah, katakan mathematics dengan moral. Boleh buat satu projek tapi dia buat maybe aktiviti tu berkenaan dengan moral, tapi dalam moral tu dia kena buat calculation guna subtraction ke, minus ke, division ke, to show how mathematics is used in another context. So kita buat macam ni juga dekat UTP. Kita panggil cooperative learning. Okay, I will come back to the question nanti. Okay, then after that I also tell them how are the grading. So student clear cut at the beginning, this is the step you need to do, this how you're going to be graded. That upfront diorang dah tahu macam mana dia upgrade. So if they choose not to follow the grading scheme, then they know they will lose the marks. So that's how very structured and systematic for in the university level. Okay, so kenapa saya buat progressive assessment? Sebab kalau saya tunggu lepas 12 minggu nak tengok mind map, kadang-kadang budak-budak tak buat pun mind map tu, tunggu sampai minggu ke-11 baru nak buat mind map. So I do not want this to happen. Every minggu ke-5 dan minggu ke-10 saya minta mind map tu as a portfolio. Mind map yang dia buat tu kena bawa ke kelas supaya saya tengok setiap budak ada mind map depan dia orang. And then when I'm teaching in front, dia tambah information. Macam tu. So saya nak those learning happen kan, especially kat topik yang susah. Okay, in terms of activity assessment ni, tengok. So bila online, these are the things I use lah. Kita guna Kahoot, Jamboard. I'm sure all of you teachers have been using it. I see my kids at school masa COVID time pun, semua cikgu-cikgu dia guna yang ni semua. And we have a WhatsApp group. So I have WhatsApp group with my student for every class that I taught. Okay, so memang specific and it's a two-way communication. Communication must take place. So two-way communication. So setiap subjek ada kalau 100 student pun 100 ada dalam WhatsApp tu dengan saya dalam tu supaya communication can happen. You just that you need to put ground rules. Kalau tak budak-budak akan message pukul 2 pagi pun dia akan message. So put ground rules. Any message is only until 5. Kalau lepas 5 tu saya akan mute. Saya takkan reply sampai esok. Macam tu. So kena ada clear ground rule when you are in the WhatsApp group with the student. But communication very important to take place kan. And then kalau non-technology, I love to do this. In my class, bila sekarang physical kan, so memang guna margin paper, colourful marker, post-it notes, kita buat role play, kita buat debate. Kadang-kadang kita take the class outside the classroom, kita pergi padang, kita belajar dekat padang. Kadang-kadang kita pergi di tepi lake, UTP has a lot lake, so we can take the class outdoor juga. Tak semestinya kena belajar di dalam kelas sahaja. So we do that at the university too. Okay, so macam mana reflection daripada budak-budak ni? So this is some of the negative one. So kadang-kadang tengok tak, student kata it's good to do active learning tapi not every week. Sebab active learning ni, buat activity ni can be very the preparation on cikgu pun heavy, on the educator pun heavy, budak-budak nak buat aktiviti pun rasa heavy. So janganlah, sebab kena buat active learning, tiap-tiap subjek kita nak buat, tiap-tiap chapter kita nak buat, janganlah buat macam tu juga. Kesian dekat diri kita, kesian juga kepada budak-budak tu kan, student kita. So fikir macam mana, okay, subjek macam maybe topik yang sangat susah, ataupun once in a while we mix some active learning to make the learning interesting. Okay. Lepas tu tengok tak budak-budak ni, budak besar, too much activity can be also very boring. Okay, so what I did, ada satu I buat banyak aktiviti, lepas tu I relaxkan. So I nak tengok dia punya student punya preference. Okay, so this is how I get the comment. Okay, dan lepas tu ada kali tu I bagi hanya video saja, tak bagi benda lain. So student kata, alah banyak sangat videos. Ada student dia tak nak video saja. Kenapa? Sebab dia ada different learning styles. Okay. Okay, so good thing they like it more than the normal traditional of teaching. Okay, it's more interesting for them. It's actually fun. Okay, what happened dekat dalam ni? Sebab remember tadi saya cakap saya buat team based learning. So saya letak diorang dalam team. Macam mana saya letak diorang dalam team? Saya suruh diorang answer the learning style punya question for student. So tu saya akan tahu student tu visual ke, auditory ke. Then I will partner them up in the group. Okay, so dalam group tu ada yang visual, ada kinesthetic, ada auditory. Lepas tu setiap bulan saya akan tukar. Okay, so daripada sini you akan kerja dengan orang ni. Sebab dalam reality, you will not work with the people that you always want to work kan. Bukan selalu boleh bekerja dengan kawan-kawan saja kan. In reality work, kita work with everyone. So sebab tu my student cakap, I know my friends even more. Sebab walaupun diorang final year, setiap kali suruh buat group activity, cari kawan yang best friend sahaja. Lepas tu yang tu je dia kena. Separuh kelas je. Tapi bila katakan kelas tu ada 50 orang, setiap bulan, setiap macam saya sebab you macam maybe for school you boleh buat setiap bulan pertukaran. Maybe for me in the university, I tukar setiap minggu. So setiap minggu I tukar, pada time 12 minggu, dia orang dah kenal satu kelas. Okay, and then they learn how to work with people of different personality and different learning style. Okay. Okay, ni example portfolio dalam bentuk printed lah. Okay. So student ni dia suka melukis-lukis, tapi dia cakap dia bila melukis pun dia kena tulis juga. Kalau tak dia rasa susah nak remember the fact. So I say it's okay, you can have in the diagram, you can have in this form. I will not dictate how you do the mind map, walaupun mind map ni ada standard dia kan, tapi untuk saya learning must take place. What at the end of the day, siapa nak baca ni untuk exam? Student tu. So you buat apa your preference, that make sure learning take place. Okay. Student ni pula dia suka melukis macam ni sebab dia memang, this student is very visual, she draws things very well. So untuk dia kata dia tak boleh banyak sangat perkataan madam. Dia kata kalau banyak sangat perkataan cluttered, saya jadi stress bila saya nak baca. Okay, tak apa, you buat macam ni. Okay, so this is example from the student. Okay, so kadang-kadang saya akan juga allow student, depend on the semester lah kan. Saya suruh cakap, okay, you boleh pakai any free online tools, buat mind map. Okay, so yang ni macam ada, dia tambah-tambah information lebih sikit. Okay, ni macam, apa ni, kalau buku budak-budak sekolah kan, apa I think, macam konsep macam tu lah. And then, this student, dia kata dia prefer not much of words. I say, okay, so kita allow the student. Okay, so, and these are some of the sample. So, tengok kat sini, the student kata, I like your teaching so much, it's very insightful, I understand better. And because they understand better, they went for a competition and they made top 20 representing Malaysia among the Southeast Asia. Because why I encourage them to have hands-on. Kan active learning kan kita buat a lot of hands-on. And then, so the method the teacher is wonderful, and you know she knows how to motivate. She's supportive, patient. Because why I use a lot of my communication skills that I have learned on how to manage the student, to make the lesson engaging. You know, I'm always there for them because I believe in empathy. Okay, I am a strong believer of empathy. Okay, now I understand about my personality and how the strong connection. Okay, you know, it's a good process because different students have different learning style. Okay, kenapa learning style ni penting? I just, all of you have answered the learning style kan? Sebab ada student ni dia visual, ada student ni dia auditory, ada student ni kinesthetic. So katakan kita and as an elder lah, saya ni seorang yang read write dengan visual, okay? So read write and auditory. So saya boleh baca notes yang tak ada gambar pun saya okay. I will survive. Okay, even I pergi training kalau dia punya slide tu semua perkataan pun I'm okay because I like to read write and I am also auditory. So I boleh duduk dekat depan, I boleh dengar presenter tu bercakap, I boleh main the phone tapi I boleh dengar semua benda sebab I'm very strong in auditory. So kadang-kadang bila my class student buat presentation kan, so saya tengoklah dekat phone tengah reply email, student kat alah cikgu lecturer ni tak concentrate langsung, saya kita orang present kat depan dia tengok dekat phone pula. Tapi saya tengok dekat phone tu sambil tengah fikiran, tengah tulis soalan dalam phone tu actually, tengah type. Budak-budak tak perasan lepas habis dia present, oh bertubi-tubi soalan daripada saya. Tu dia fikir, bila pula lah madam ni dengar, kita tengok-tengok dia tengok dekat phone. Sebab saya strong in auditory. So kenapa ini penting? Sebab setiap student cara learning style dia berlainan. So bila saya buat aktiviti dalam kelas, saya make sure saya ada aktiviti yang ada video, nak represent orang yang ada visual. Lepas tu ada juga aktiviti ni banyak read and write. Ada pula student aktiviti ni saya suruh diorang bergerak daripada meja diorang ke pakai majung paper, pergi tampar sini bergerak. Sebab those are student yang kinesthetic. So, tapi bila you buat aktiviti macam ni, you kena balance it. Sebab bila saya buat aktiviti yang kinesthetic, kena bergerak, kena pergi sini, student yang read and write macam akan cakap, alah madam cakap je lah madam, kita orang tak payahlah buat aktiviti macam ni sebab dia orang bukan kinesthetic. So, dia orang cannot take out themselves from the chair, nak bergerak, pergi ke majung paper dekat wall tu. Because they are not kinesthetic. Tapi I push them to go out of their comfort zone because reality world out there is much more harsh. So you need to be aware of your learning style, and when the situation comes, you boleh flexible and adapt to the changes. Sebab tu bila dalam aktiviti dalam kelas saya, ada yang akan address budak yang read write, budak yang auditory, budak yang kinesthetic. So I will try to address the learning style. Okay, so this is how I structured. So I really think through of my class activity, my assignment, I think through. So bila buat assignment pun akan hantar report, short report in the form of PowerPoint and a short video. Sebab nak suruh juga buat read and write, lepas tu nak suruh dia present dalam kelas tapi nak juga video, 5 minit video supaya boleh address student with different learning styles. Sebab if not, it's a punishment to the student. Katakan saya ni read and write sahaja. Kan saya read and write. Student saya pula yang kinesthetic visual. So bayangkan kalau saya mengajar semua slide saya penuh dengan perkataan, ask them to read text after text. Pengsang budak-budak tu. Bila diorang ni kinesthetic, diorang ni visual kan. So it's very unfair. Not they are not smart. But the learning cannot take place because their learning style is not read and write. So sometimes we have to be flexible. Sebagai educator ni, bila kita aware kita punya read and write, kita ada preference kita. Tapi tak semestinya preference kita tu sesuai dengan student kita. So kita tahu kita punya preference. So that's very important kenapa saya suruh buat learning style punya questionnaire supaya you aware of your preference. Then kita cakap okay, so saya dah aware, then I can do this. Okay. Hari tu I jumpa this teacher. Okay, this teacher dia is a visual. So dia memang visual. So setiap minggu dia suruh student dia buat video. Setiap minggu buat video. Okay. Tapi eventually the student jadi overwhelmed because some of the student are not visual based, some are read write. So it become very stressful moment for the student. So boleh buat, tapi kita apa-apa kita buat, kita kena buat moderate lah. Jangan overdo of everything. Just because we are visual doesn't mean our student visual. Tapi it's a good to have a mix. It's a mixed balance, tak semestinya. Tapi at least kita sentuh lah different learning style. Okay, yang ni emoticons ni budak-budak zaman sekarang kan sukalah emoticons ni. So saya suruh dia buat mind map, buat reflection, lepas tu buat emoticon. Macam mana dia punya reaction untuk subjek ni. So topik ni student saya letak gambar macam ni. So maksudnya dia confused. So bila saya tengok gambar emoticon ni saya tahu dia mesti tak faham topik ni. So bila saya pergi kelas, saya akan tekankan bila saya buat revision, saya tekankan topik ni sebab saya tahu emoticon sangat confused. Okay, so saya tengok majority dekat mana topik dia orang confused. So yang dapat gambar dengan love ni, saya tahu dia orang faham. So okay, saya tak concentrate sangat lah bahagian tu bila saya buat revision dengan dia orang. So that's why I put on emoticons to meet the later generation of children. Okay, saya learning style ni saya dah cover dah. As I thought I have cover. So there are different learning style. You are using what that day. So there's visual, oral, read, write, and kinesthetic. So visual, oral is auditory, read and write, and kinesthetic. So there are 4 types. So all of us have our own preference system. Okay, there will be more than one. The primary one, the second one. I'm sure some of you might get multimodal, means you can have more than 1 or 2. So you can, being a multimodal, you are very flexible. You can adapt to it. But it's very important that you know how your student are. So sebab tu student saya masuk hari pertama kelas, semua orang kena jawab soalan learning style ni. Okay. So I will get my student to answer. For student, answer ni. So they will answer ni, so saya tahu dekat dalam kelas saya ni, majority siapa dia orang ni. Saya nak kenal student saya bukan melalui nama, age or where they come from, or their races, tapi cara dia belajar tu macam mana. So saya kata, okay, dalam kelas ramai yang kinestetik. So kalau saya mengajar 1 jam, tak bagi dia orang gerak, suruh duduk dan dengar saya, tak jalan lah dampaknya. So saya akan ajar sikit, lepas tu saya akan bagi aktiviti sikit supaya dia orang bergerak. So bila dia orang bergerak, dia bernyawa sikit. Lepas tu dia concentrate better. Lepas tu okay, sekarang budak-budak duduk balik. Okay, now we gonna continue our lesson. So that's why it's very important to know your student.
Dr. Savita, why don't we ask the teachers what are their learning style or what are their teaching style in the Zoom chat? So cikgu-cikgu semua 40 cikgu di sini, 40 teachers here, can feel free to type in the chat. Let Dr. Savita know after you done the test, right? What is your teaching style? What is your teaching style? First of all, the first link that you have done, which is the teaching questionnaire. Teaching questionnaire for teachers. What is your result? Type in the chat. Multimodal, Cikgu Abdul Razak. Yes. I'm a kinesthetic, I remember. Okay. Other teachers still remember, like, what's your result? So I think Dr. Savita can also like share with teachers. If let's say this is their teaching style,
okay,
then their students' learning style is like, macam-macam ada. Like a variety of it. How do this like link together, their teaching style and their students' learning style? How does it like complement each other?
Okay. So as I explained earlier kan, saya seorang yang auditory dan read and write. Okay. So saya bukan visual, saya bukan kinesthetic. Okay. So saya pun memang bukan jenis yang bergerak-gerak ke. So tapi bila saya tengok saya buat dengan student saya, kebanyakan student saya semua kinesthetic. Okay. So I have to adapt to my students. So it's very important sebagai educator ni kita kena jadi adapt. Kita nak adapt lah dengan environment kan. Sebab kita nak learning to take place. So bila saya design saya punya activity, walaupun dia luar daripada comfort zone saya bukan seorang yang kinesthetic, saya bukan seorang yang visual. So kalau you tengok slide saya, ada banyak perkataan juga kan. Tu pun saya dah sedaya upaya dan dah kurangkan perkataan ni kan. Kalau you tengok dulu-dulu saya punya slide tu white and black je. White background, black writing penuh dari atas ke bawah sebab saya ni read and write. Everything is important. Tak ada visual. Tapi at least sekarang dah ada colour sikit. So kenapa saya adapt to it. Okay, so bila saya buat slide, saya tanya kawan kelik saya yang visual. So saya akan tanya, like, so normally saya tanya Dr. Mano sebab Dr. Mano ni sangat kinesthetic, extreme kinesthetic, extreme visual. So saya akan bagi dekat dia. Okay tak? Saya punya slide ni, visual ni okay tak? So dia akan bagi feedback. So saya akan modify sikit. Sebab kalau ikut hati saya, hitam putih je slide tu. So this is how I adapt. So when I teach my student, bila I design activity tu, I fikir, okay, bila saya buat activity ni, macam mana saya nak address satu activity tak semestinya akan address semua learning style. Jangan pula duduk fikir satu learning style saya nak buat minggu depan, macam mana nak address semua orang. Tak semestinya satu activity tu boleh address semua learning style. So katakan activity tu boleh address kinesthetic dengan visual. Tak apa, kita buat activity tu untuk kinesthetic visual. Read and write, student, auditory student kena jadi flexible. Dia kena adapt. Lepas tu aktiviti satu lagi kita akan maybe untuk budak read write dengan auditory. So budak-budak kinestetik ni dia kena adapt to the changes. Being flexible, being aware, being flexible is the way to go. Okay, so that's how I do Wimping in my class.
Yes. So it's about adopting and adaptation and adoption of what's your students' perspective, what their preference, but not to suit all, but try to accommodate with some of them in this day, some of them is that day, then many of them will be engaged most of the time. Right, so that is a very, very smart and very, very, very a systematic way from Dr. Savita that teachers can refer. Boleh jadikan satu panduan, jadikan satu reference dalam classroom cikgu-cikgu juga.
Okay, you can. Okay, so I'm not going to go in detail. So kita tadi ada explain kan visual. What is the difference between visual, auditory, okay, sound kan, and then read and write. You can read further, and even for the work, when they answer the question, what will tell you if in a kinesthetic, what are your preference also? What are the details? So then we have kinesthetic, okay? So my observation, nowadays kids are very visual and very kinesthetic, okay? But I believe that in whatever we do, we must do it moderately, okay? Kalau tak nanti cikgu pun overburden, student pun overburden. So don't do something that overburden either party. Okay. All right. So I think I'm towards the end already, my last 2 slides. So what I want to say is that the map is not the territory. Means like every of us, the way we perceive the world is very unique. Okay. So when we talk to someone, everybody ingat tak? Masa tadi saya cakap ada filter. Bila masuk filter tu, kita ada map yang berlainan. So setiap orang map dia berlainan. Okay, so when we communicate, we must adjust. Tengok ada perkataan yang saya selalu guna daripada tadi. Adjustment, adaptation, adopt. Okay, that's how communication take place. Okay. Purpose of the communication is that we want to get the desired outcome. So katakan orang tu tak faham apa kita communicate, means the way we put to them is not matching the map that they have in their mind. So that's why we kena adapt lagi sikit. So kata hari ni adalah adaptation lah. Okay, and then we cannot not to communicate. Maksudnya, we are communicating all the time. Tapi remember, communication bukan hanya perkataan, not only words. Alright, communication comes with intonation, pauses, body gesture. You know, body gesture macam tangan punya movement ke, your smile is very, very important. Okay, remember that. That's how the person that we communicate with, sama ada student ke, kita punya children ke, spouse ke, that's how they take the information in. Okay, and sebab bila kita bercakap dengan seseorang, dia tak dengar perkataan kita, dia tengok body gesture dulu. So macam saya cakap tadi, student saya cakap, I understand madam, tapi muka berkerut-kerut, lepas tu semua tu saya tahu. So saya perkataan yang dia understand tu dah tak berapa masuk dah, saya tahu dia tak faham. Kenapa? Sebab saya punya focus is on the non-verbal cue. So it's very important to be alert on that, okay? And mind and body are the part of the same system. So maksudnya katakan emotion kita dekat dalam is not in a good state, it will show in our external state. So I mean we are human being kan, kadang-kadang we have issues at home and then we come to school and you know sometimes we show our emotion through our physiology dekat luar. So and then you know because that's how our react. So must always remember mind and body is one system. So we need to be aware and we control it so that when we give our external response, it does not affect our communication with another party. Okay, so here is this topic kan ni bukan hanya untuk student, but it's also untuk our children or in our communication with our husband or our wife or even with our friends and colleagues. The same thing apply. Okay, so this is 10 way that we can be a good relationship dengan student. Again, my keyword, adopt and adapt as educator. All right, we must change. All right, generation change, the world have changed, transformation has happened kan, and then we must be friendly, kind, and empathy. So my student and me, the gap between me and my student is very small. So you know, they are a lecturer, but I'm also a friend to them. Okay, so that they can be open. So it's very important to create the friendliness and the empathy, but put ground rules so that they don't step over the boundaries. Okay, so must have a boundaries too. And then check your student well-being, encourage two-way interaction, talk positive. So always, tell some stories. Sebab actually student zaman sekarang kan dia belajar dengan cara storytelling. The best way to teach them with storytelling. Tak tunjuk, ajar konsep, bagi satu story. Or comfort, they will remember it even much better. So that's why it's very important to talk to them positive, share positive thoughts, share positive story. And sometimes we have to listen to them too. They are trying to tell us something, even though they are small, but we have to listen to them. Sometimes there are reason or points that they want to tell us through, this is what I do, share everyday life story. So bila I masuk kelas, masuk kelas tu I tak terus, okay, hari ni kita nak belajar subjek ni, tak ada. I masuk kelas tu, I ask them how they are, this and that, had 5 minutes of conversation, then I tell about my story, just to, calm down the environment. Okay, lepas tu, okay, today we're going to learn this and this. And that's what I do. So I build that relationship dulu, keep them calm down, check on them, tell some story, create a nice environment, positive environment, baru saya start mengajar. Okay, and then have a pleasant gesture. The student observe us all the time. They observe us physiology more than our words. So bila kita ngajar dekat depan tu, dia tengok kita punya gesture, intonation more than what the words that come out. So we must have a good we must have a pleasant physiology, non-verbal tu juga. Okay, and reward. I believe in rewards. I always reward my student walaupun dekat university. Forever, for me, effort counts. Walaupun dia tak dapat result yang bagus, I expect a good result, but they don't get but I know they work very hard, I will still give them extra mark because I work closely with my students. So I tahu, okay, dia walaupun dia tak dapat result yang bagus, tapi I tahu effort yang dia orang letak. So I will still give them extra points. So sometimes I bring chocolates to the class. Walaupun dia sebut universiti, kita bring chocolate. Kadang-kadang kita ajak, kalau kelas kecil tu saya bawa dia keluar makan, tapi kelas besar tak boleh lah. So biasanya saya bawa chocolate lah, some tidbits, and I told them you can have in the class, tapi make sure you don't dirty the class. Macam chocolate kecil-kecil tu, sweets kan, they can eat in the class because it will not dirty the class. So I will have that rules with them. And so this is why reward is very important. So lastly, my 5 key takeaway is that fit, fun, flexibility, fluidity, and feasibility. Maksudnya saya fit ni, one size does not fit all. So we cannot ensure that kita tak boleh cara ni, inilah caranya, tak boleh. Kita kena be adaptable, kita kena mix, sebab kita tengok hari ini kita belajar kan, student kita semua berlainan, ada cara learning style berlainan, termasuk educator pun berlainan. Okay, so one size does not fit all, so we must be flexible. Okay, so and then must have fun, alternate you punya activity, material, some online, mahjong paper. I know a lot of you are doing this already. Okay, I know that I have come across many teacher. I gave a talk to a teacher from Sekolah Muizzin Shah Kuala Kangsar about 2 weeks ago, and I can see they do a lot of things to make the class very fun. Okay, and flexibility, accommodate to the changes, the student needs, student ability. Make sure that you are more structured, more systematic supaya boleh help the student kan, instead of create confusion in them. Fluidity maksudnya kita mix and match kita punya method lah. Active learning teknik ni banyak sangat teknik. So hari ni saya tak ada masa nak share pasal active learning teknik yang saya guna dalam kelas. Kita ada banyak teknik untuk kelas kecil, kelas medium dan kelas yang besar. Maybe one day in future, if I given the opportunity, I will share you what are the techniques of active learning that we are using in the university. Okay, so feasibility ni maksudnya bila kita nak buat aktiviti, kita tengok jugalah. Kita kalau nak pakai internet, ada tak internet accessibility, kita ada resource ke tak, whether is within the time management okay ke tak. Kan ingat tak saya cakap, whatever we do, we want learning to take place. But we don't want to burden ourselves as educator or burden the students. So find a balance of it, okay? Alright, and I leave some video for you guys to watch. I love these videos. And with that, thank you. And I would like to end my sharing with this quote. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So if a child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. With that, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Savita. So, teachers, feel free to show some appreciation in the Zoom chat. Say thank you to Dr. Savita if you have learned something today. I think a lot of information that have been shared by Dr. Savita, this can be easily a 3 to 5 hour session. But Dr. Savita very graciously done it in 2 hours for us, 1.5 hour for us, and then later on we will have our Q&A session. So a lot of like inspirational and very insightful knowledge from Dr. Savita, very theory based and also like example based that is happening in Dr. Savita's classroom. Teachers can take home, take away, take back into your classroom as well. So Dr. Savita, let's go on to the Q&A session, shall we? Okay, so teachers, feel free to put in a few last questions in the Padlet link, right? Put in the last few questions in the Padlet link, and then we'll begin the Q&A session right now. Yeah, we'll begin the Q&A session right now. So feel free to put in any question you have. Yes, Teacher Jennifer, Teacher Rini, saying that very insightful, appreciate it, good ideas and sharing, and all sharing were actually been taught, but very refreshing. Yeah, it's a very good refresher. Yes. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, sharing. Yes, very good. Thank you for inspiration talk. Yes, take it up to Raza. So now I'll bring in the Padlet for Dr. Savita to go through some of the questions with us. Yes, this is the Padlet. Let me make it full screen. All right. Okay, there we go. So let us go through the first question. So Dr. Savita mentioned about learning styles and then different teaching methods. So this teacher, I think, is handling like more than 40 students maybe. So asking like Dr. Savita's opinion, how to adjust the methods to suit different personality in large class.
Okay, all right, that's a good question. Thank you for the question. Okay, so I have about 30 to 40 students in my class too. So what I do is that I will ask them to answer the question of the learning style so that I know what learning style they are. Then I will put it in the Excel, all right? And then I will assign the grouping for them. So I dah mix and match lah. So I mix, okay, kat sini ada kinesthetic, ada visual, ada read, write. So I will match them and already put in the grouping. And then bila I buat, I design activity tu, macam I cakap kan, satu activity tu tak semestinya kita boleh address 4 terus. Pening juga kalau cikgu nak fikir satu aktiviti ni boleh buat visual, kinesthetic, boleh buat auditory, pengsan cikgu kan. So kadang-kadang satu aktiviti ni maybe kita boleh address 2 learning style. So maybe that time kita buat 2. Bila kita buat aktiviti yang kedua, yang ketiga, kita address pula yang learning style kita tak address sebelum ni. So that's how I do it in my class juga. So cikgu pun boleh buat macam ni, cikgu.
So does it mean the grouping already like show the proportion and then like how many kinesthetic students, how many visual students, so you can do more often, or kinesthetic, let's say 80% of it are kinesthetic. So you can do more often activities for kinesthetic, something like that. You can spread out.
Not necessary, because I think in the real world, everybody has to be flexible with all the 4. So you need to expose student walaupun dia bukan read and write, tapi read and write tu sangat penting. So push them out of their comfort zone. So maybe start dengan kinesthetic, tapi minggu depan walaupun katakan you buat group, tengok-tengok dalam kelas tu kebanyakan semua kinesthetic dengan visual. Read write 2-3 orang je. So macam mana nak buat grouping tak balance kan? Tak apa, walaupun dia tak balance, bila buat activity, force them to do things beyond their comfort zone juga. That is very important.
Yes, I think that is a very realistic part that Dr. Savita has highlighted. Read and write might not be many people's favorite, including me, but the reality is that we need read and write in the future, no matter what we do, right? No matter like what we're working in office, we're working in a school setting, we are working in an organization, we need read and write, even though sometimes we hate it. So this is a very realistic part that we should bring to our students. And I think highlighting the rationale of it will make the students even more willingly, not to like very forceful or something like that, right? So I think this is a part that I appreciate a lot from Dr. Savita as well. Really expose to them different learning methods so that they can be adaptable as well in the future in their working environment.
Yes.
So next questions. Does it work the same for special education students? Have you ever taught special needs students? Yes.
I think special education kids, is totally a different game altogether that I have no experience in this. All right, I really have no experience, but I know friends who are doing on special education, so they do have specific methods for this, but I'm not an expert in this, so I really have nothing much to say on this, because I think when it comes to special education, is also depend on their what kind of maybe learning disability or level of learning disability, or there are many other parameters that might take place. So I think the best person, maybe you need to get somebody who's specialized special education to come in and share on this thing. Yeah.
So Dr. Salva do know a few friends that are specialized in this, right?
Yes,
For example, Dr. Manu that you mentioned just now that we is also invited for Education Summit.
yes.
She is also one of the experienced one in this area.
And she's having a project. She's working closely with Autism Association Autism of Malaysia. Yeah, currently.
So I think what we can do is that if let's say teachers really are facing some challenges or you want to learn more about how to teach special education needs students, I think what we can do is that maybe Dr. Savita can connect us with Dr. Manu, and then our teachers can feel free to jot down your questions for us, and then we probably can send the questions to the expert that to the really experienced one in special education. Yes, I think that is one area that probably we can cover in the future as well, so that to suit all students have the equality, have the equal chance to learn, right, including the special needs students. So next one, let's move on. Do you think student-centered learning, just now I think Dr. Savita shared about student-centered learning in tertiary level, can it be applied in primary schools and secondary schools?
I believe it can be applied at primary and secondary school, but I think it's very important that a close monitoring, or they call scaffolding, means like you really has to guide them. There's another term called scaffolding, where like how you build the bangunan kan, you letak besi-besi tu kan, dia panggil scaffolding, so that it does not runtuh kan. So there's a concept called scaffolding, but you need to means you has to be with them in that journey, monitor them, sebab they are quite a young kids. But it can take place, because I believe you have done this for student center. You empower them, right? During COVID, what do? You give them the video, ask them to go and listen to the video, ask them to learn, lepas tu bagi aktiviti. Kadang-kadang tak ada kelas kan, kadang cikgu masa COVID kan, cikgu kadang some school dia tak don't have classes pun. Dia bagi student video, bagi aktiviti, suruh dia buat. Lepas tu maybe after 1 month, dia panggil student for class, and then they do discussion. So it can be done, and I've seen it's been done during the COVID time. But what I realized that for primary and secondary school student, you need more close interaction. You tak boleh loose hand lah, macam you hold them like my layang-layang kan, hold them like a kite. Tapi if you let the string too loose, then you will lose them. Eventually, no learning take place. So you must make sure that you have the control of the kite, and you can pull the kite as you need it. So it's very important in student learning. Sebab in student learning, centered learning, kita empower student. So daripada instead kita jadi teacher, kita jadi instructor kan. Tapi because they are small kids and this is a new method, do we probably start with a topic which is difficult, empower them, tapi don't let them loose. That's very important.
Right. So I think there's a very similar connection with previous session as well, which is the use of videos. Last week is about edutubers, how they create video contents, right? So student-centered learning, one of the method is to really show them video, and then they learn from the video itself. So it's a self-learning method, something like that. So yes, it can be applied. So teacher, Dr. Savita is saying that you need to do it step by step, scaffolding, and then need to like playing kite, let loose sometime, and then hold on to them sometime. So it's I think that requires experience as well. Yeah, requires experience to try out different methods with your students. I think primary schools level definitely need to have some form of control first. Because they tend to let loose. If we let loose, they are gone. The kite will fly very, very far away.
Yeah, because I see like my son's school, the teacher was asking them to do a presentation on human body or something, but it's being taught, then they was giving a video, then they have to discuss and make a poster. So they give a mahjong paper in the class, they have to do all the drawing, and every students, the group, right, they brought to the school hall on the stage, they have to explain in front of other class. So there is a very good student-centered, so they are teaching about human body to not only to their class but to all the other classes too.
Wow. So they have discussion, they have presentation. So really, like they teach themselves by doing it themselves.
Yeah, but you ask me, is it every week? No, it's only the topic that's very important or the topic is very difficult. There should be reason why you want that topic, or maybe topic which, how to say, it must be application based. Then maybe you want to use this kind of method. Yeah.
So it's an important topic, so that they will also be motivated to do it, some sort of mission for them to complete, so that they have the sense of accomplishment. Okay, so next one, I think this is from one of the teachers in the Zoom chat just now. How to guide students to write essays with only topic with minimal guidance.
Okay, I believe if it's primary, secondary school, probably when you start ask them, I mean, I might not be the right candidate to answer on this writing essay, but what I do is that even in the assignment that I give them, I will give them some guidance. All right, so probably I give them some point, or even I will give them some website link for them to have read further to let them to get the idea, but I don't just give them direct point. So means I gave them something, but not everything. Say for example, that day I asked them to do empathy map. Okay. So I already explained a little bit what is empathy map, and then I gave them some example of empathy map. I share them some website link, and then from there they will get the idea and find their points and create their own empathy map. Yeah.
Okay, so empathy map is one of it, and then I think essays with minimal guidance. I think from our experience is that constraint is very important. So you need to give some of the criteria or what need to be included in the essays.
Yeah.
Then other part of it, they can feel free to explore with their own imagination, with their own stories, or with their own facts, something like that. Yeah,
but this is very subjective. I think as they gain their maturity, they will have more idea, and especially if the kids, even the kids are young, but they are the kids who love to read storybooks, you know, all those things. They sometimes have more creative thinking, then they can really write a good essay with a very interesting story and minimal guidance. So this also subjected to the exposure of the student. Remember how they filter the information, they distort based on their memory, belief, value system, experience, those things also relate. So if the kids are small, I think we still need to give some guidance to them.
Yes.
But not everything. Yeah.
Yes, not to spoon feed, but give a little bit of guidance, direction, not to straight away bring them to the destination.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so next one, how to apply the reflection activity. I think this is one of the very good activity that done by Dr. Savita in the classroom. Students are giving feedback about classroom, and then Dr. Savita actually know like where they are, and then how do you feel about the class and then the activities. So how to apply that in primary schools? I think this is one of the primary schools teachers' question.
Okay, so I think reflection, one thing when as an educator, sebagai lecturer, sebagai cikgu, kita kena be very open sebab reflection can come negative and positive. So kalau kita dapat negative reflection, janganlah jadi emotional lepas tu pergi punish the student. Don't do that, okay? Because the purpose of reflection is to know what they feel. It could be negative, it could be positive, tapi we must be open to make the changes sebab kita nak tahu reflection. So bila I buat reflection, even at the university level, I clear reflection on my teaching, reflection on the topic cover, reflection about you understanding the topic. So sama boleh buat macam tu. So maksudnya saya masih, even saya buat reflection, saya bagi guidance. Tapi sebab dia primary school student, so you cakap okay, buat reflection pasal topik hari ni, tapi buat ayat sendiri. So in a way they learn how to make sentences juga kan. Maybe 1 or 2 sentences, tak payahlah paragraph macam budak-budak universiti. Lepas tu suruh dia draw emoticons. They will be very excited. Ataupun suruh dia kata, if it's good, buat some graphical. Sebab kadang-kadang budak ni very visual kan, especially primary, maybe put tick, yellow, green color, X is for tak faham. Tapi lepas tu, cikgu jangan jadi emotional lah, yang tu yang paling penting sebab kadang-kadang bila student tak faham, kita jadi marah. Dan I dah mengajar sekali lagi tak faham. Then it defeat the purpose of reflection. So it's very important. So even reflection, I do receive a good reflection. I do sometimes receive a bad reflection because it's very individual to the student. Tadi nampak kan student tu kata banyaknya aktiviti, banyaknya video. Sebab kenapa? Budak tu bukan budak video. Bila saya bagi YouTube selalu dia tak suka sebab dia kalau prefer dia nak tik-tik punya material to read. Sebab for her, bila video dia kurang teks. So dia rasa macam learning ni susah. Dia prefer nak baca sebab she love to read books. So reflection can be conducted at primary school. Be creative. So suruh ayat sikit-sikit, lepas tu buat emoticons ke, buat some graphic ke. Tapi that is their part. On the teacher part, we have to manage our emotion and we must be open for changes. That is very, very important. Okay. Sebab saya tahu kan, sebab saya pun mengajar 20 tahun kan. Cikgu-cikgu pun mengajar many years kan. And then this is the way I have taught. Kenapa I nak tukar sekarang? Okay. And then we get very upset bila we have to change. And I have been educating student macam ni dah 20 tahun. Everybody is successful. You know, sometimes we have this reserve part of us. So bila kita buat student-centered learning, active learning, kita buat part 21, all those things, including reflection, we must be open and adaptive to the changes. That's very, very important, okay?
Okay, so that is a very wise advice from teacher Dr. Savita about reflection. Yes, they will confirm be haters just like YouTubers. But how do we adapt and then make the contents or our teaching or our methods even suit their learning, make them more effective for them? Yeah, that is that is only thing that we need to focus on. Yeah, not the negativity, right? So very, very wise advice from Dr. Savita. Be open, accept the reflections from the students, and from Dr. Savita's examples, right? We can know which method is actually benefiting them, is actually works for them. That is why we want to do reflection activity for our students. But for primary school, I think we can do more visuals, just like Dr. Savita, a very, very great idea, emoticons, right? And is applying the 10 techniques as well from Jay's session. So emojis, symbols, right? Mind mapping or bina ayat, just like Dr. Savita said, yeah, it's all together applying the 10 techniques in reflection activity itself. Okay, so we have last few questions, and then we will, have some questions from the floor as well, if any. So next one is what rewards, or I think at the end of session, Dr. Savita mentioned about rewards. What rewards are suitable for students to motivate them, but not spoiling them?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, when you decide to give a reward, especially for smaller kids, right? You have a clear guideline. If you do ABC, this kind of thing, you're going to get the reward. Because why? Sometimes student will feel like, my friend got reward, but kenapa I tak dapat, tapi I buat the same thing. So student tends to get confused. So when we want to do reward system, you be clear upfront what kind of reward you will give, for what reason. So dia tahu, okay, kalau saya finish my work on time ataupun I be the first to present, there should be some guideline, then I will get reward. So the student will not question, kenapa kawan saya dapat, saya tak dapat. Lepas tu kadang-kadang dia orang balik rumah, dia cakap kat mak dia, saya buat juga tapi saya tak dapat, tapi kawan saya dapat. Lepas tu nanti mak dia pergi kat sekolah, cikgu, kenapa cikgu tak reward anak saya? Anak saya pun buat juga kerja tu. So that's another problem. So you need to be very clear for what reason they are getting reward. So reward pun boleh buat nombor. Untuk saya lah, reward ni patut semua orang lah, bukan the top 3. I don't believe the top 3 kind of thing. Okay, so you can start with simple, maybe I can see in school kadang-kadang dia collect the stars, and then bila dia cukup 5 stars, 10 star, dia bagi some goodies, some some goodies to them. And then some teacher, I perasan like for my class, I bawa chocolate Cadbury. Lepas tu I distributed equally to all of them in the class because they have performed very well for certain activity. Jangan spoil them, I do agree. So janganlah tiap minggu a reward. So make it very impactful, you dapat reward. So sudah cakap, kalau kita buat macam ni, we gonna be rewarded. And then you will risk you punya reward. So you akan cakap, okay, costing macam mana? So costing tu memanglah duit saya sendirilah kan, daripada poket saya sendirilah. But I think, so you find something that within affordable jugalah kan, jangan pergi macam overspend. Tapi I know some student, some macam my colleagues, sometimes they spend quite a lot of money juga, tapi it's your own personal thing. So kadang-kadang kita orang beli pizza, then like share, everybody get one slice for pizza dekat ni. So
yeah, we're not gonna buy iPhone, iPad for them, right?
yes,
That's
and
too
not
much of a
necessary you
reward.
must do it every week, tau tak? So it's like something, but reward is very important sebab the student perception is that the teacher observe us, value us, and value our performance. So we are being rewarded. Because at home, we have children. Betul tak? Student kita, tapi dekat rumah kita sebagai ibu bapa, bila anak kita buat good things, we do reward. So reward system does not start from school, it starts from home. So children has been rewarded when they achieve something, they have good behavior. Just that don't spoil reward tu dengan big things lah. Tapi reward system has been coming from home. So bila pergi school, if you do that reward system together, you can see a boost of motivation and they want to work hard towards it. Yeah.
Yes, I also agree with this positive reinforcement, positive rewards system. Especially secondary school, I think chocolate snacks is very, very highly motivated for them already from my experience. Because I think at home they are more restricted, they cannot access to all these snacks. So teachers can give them in proportion, in moderation. Then primary school students, I think as simple as the stars, the collection of stars, the collection of points, point system, it is very highly motivated for them already. It's a form of connection from us with the students as well, so that we can be their friends, we can be their mentors, and then as well as, yes, like Dr. Savita mentioned, we appreciate their work, we appreciate them.
And I've seen a school who they gave like a tag, it's like they made a tag like the best student, like the most well-behaved student tag. So sebab they well-behaved, so they wear the tag everywhere they walk in the school, because they are well-behaved students. So they have a tag, so they walk with so proud, like, oh, I'm a well-behaved student. So tapi untuk minggu tu je lah, so minggu depan the tag tu will go to somebody else. So you can go by the tag. So this is non-monetary reward, tak pakai duit, in the sense that and or you can be dekat dia punya collar kan, kita boleh letak pin kan, macam St. John have St. John pin, but you can buy that kind of pin. So when they have a pin, macam Master Chef concept, okay, bila dia ada pin tu, then they maksudnya they're being rewarded for something good behavior ke good performance. So that's another way. So it's very creative thinking of the teachers.
Yes, it depends on school culture as well, like how the students view motivation as a whole. Then we can use that to motivate them. Okay, so moving on, we have last 3 questions of here. Teacher, how do we know what type of learning style we are like, visual, auditory, kinetic? Oh, I think teacher over here haven't completed the questionnaire, is it? So VAC questionnaire is one of the example that Dr. Savita has shared. So once again, I put down in the Zoom chat to complete the questionnaire. Later on, I will share both link for teacher and students. So maybe Dr. Savita can share how does the students link work? Like once they give the students to fill in, what's next?
Actually, the student link works exactly like the teachers. So after they finish, the result will come out. So you must get the student to capture their result. It's just that for student, if you see the question is much more simple, shorter, so that it's easier for them to answer. But if you think, it's quite high level, what you can tell the student to go back home and do the questionnaire along, sit with the father or mother, and then get the parents to capture the result and share, like if you have a WhatsApp group or anything, let the parents share it individually to the teacher or in the group. It's up to you. So you can ask the parents to assist too. Because not only important for the teachers to know, it's very, very, very important for the parents to know. Because learning also comes from the house. Kan bukan sekolah je kan. So kita tak boleh cakap learning, only teacher responsible. No, as parent, also we have our responsibility. So get the anak-anak tu duduk dengan mak ayah, supaya mak ayah pun tahu anak dia ni seorang yang visual ke apa ke. It's very important not to educate only the teachers, but also the parents.
Okay, so is there any other tests that students or teachers can access?
Actually, there are many learning style personality tests, but I personally feel that this is one of the simplest one and one of the least question. But if you want more, I can always look for it and share to the group. Yeah.
Yes, so I think Dr. Savita, what Dr. Savita has just shared is very important. So once they do this test, not just for the sake of doing it, actually need to share with you and share with the parents as well to have a feedback loop so that we can have the next step. Oh, this activity suit them best. That activity more effective for them, right? So teachers, feel free to complete this teachers test to understand your teaching style, and then can let your students do the students test for younger people, the link for younger people, the student test, and then how do you adapt and adopt different teaching methods into your students' perspective. Alright, so we have last two question of here. Bagaimana untuk kumpulan yang ramai tapi murid-murid dalam umur 7-8 tahun agak sukar untuk uruskan? Oh, the younger ones lah, the 7 to 8 years old.
Okay, younger one, okay, kalau katakan cikgu nak pakai learning style tu, memang budak-budak 7-8 tahun ni memang kena duduk dengan mak ayah dia, get them to answer the question. Tapi kalau nak buat macam ni, cikgu yang kena letak kumpulan. Maksudnya cikgu dah break them, this is your work, tapi work tu tak boleh buat dekat rumah. So kalau sometimes kalau budak besar-besar kita boleh macam okay separuh buat dekat rumah, bawa semula ke sekolah. Tapi yang ni memang that period cikgu kena ambil memang buat aktiviti sahaja, tapi buat everything must buat dekat dalam kelas dan with a close monitoring. Maksud cikgu memang kena letak dalam kumpulan, katakan kumpulan 4 orang ke 5 orang macam tu, break them. You know, you ask them to rearrange their table, then rearrange back ataupun pusing kerusi ke macam mana. Tapi jangan buat setiap minggu lah cikgu, sebab macam cikgu cakap, budak-budak ni kecil. So they're going to be very taxing kan, very burden for you teacher. So maybe you choose maybe sebulan sekali ke ataupun 2 minggu sekali ke, tengok you where is it. That's what they will really appreciate to have that kind of activity. But I know it can be very exhausting for the teachers. But it is very important to make the the learning happen. So maybe kalau cikgu buatlah macam 3 minggu sekali ke sebulan sekali, make activity tapi dalam kelas, break them in the group, but closely monitor. Memang kena jalan. Saya budak universiti pun memang jalan 2 jam tu tak berhenti sebab kelas kita orang 2 jam. Bukan 1 jam, bukan 30 minit. It's 2 hours per class. So memang 2 jam tu memang saya berjalan je. Berjalan berhenti. Okay, kat mana sekarang? Buat apa? Faham tak? Do you need any guidance? Can I explain? Which theory? Memang berbuih-buih mulut. Setiap grup saya pergi. Macam tu. Untuk 2 jam sampai, so katakan you bagi okay 10 minit yang terakhir atau 15 minit terakhir, budak-budak daripada grup tu kena berdiri, kena explain apa you dah belajar. So let them stand up walaupun dia present dia betul ke, tak betul ke, fluent ke tak fluent, tak apa. Remember, effort counts. That is very, very important. So kalau 1 month once buat macam tu, student budak-budak kecil kan 7 tahun kan, memang bising, all those things kan, tapi dia bangun juga explain sikit sana, biarpun betul ke salah ke, tapi effort count kan, bagi dia orang reward. Maybe bulan pertama, bulan kedua, bulan ketiga tu susah. Bulan keempat, 5, 6 dia dah start adapting student dah start adapting. Dia tahu dia buat ni dapat reward. They will behave much better. They will be more cooperative with you, teacher.
So I think to answer this question, cikgu, ia satu sistem yang cikgu boleh create. From the starting like grouping until like teaching styles and teaching methods until the end the reward. So it's a step-by-step process. It's a whole system. So cikgu boleh try out lah. Saya rasa from Dr. Savita sharing just now, one thing you can start with is to break them into groups. To break them into groups to more easily manage, because once they are in the group, right? In the group, someone follow you, then the rest will follow the group. So it's a herd kind of thing lah. It's a herd kind of influence, right? So cikgu pun boleh cuba untuk split them to groups, do group activities, do some healthy competition format, point system, reward. 7-8 tahun pun akan ikut. Sebab dia enjoy sebab dia enjoy, dia have fun. Memang dalam umur 7-8 tahun kan, Dr. Savita, it's about having fun. It's about I'm so new to this world, I want to learn everything, I want to know everything. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so last question over here: how to guide non-proficient weak pupils in writing essays or stories?
Okay, I think if possible, you want to know what is their learning style first. Is it there's an influence to their learning style? Maybe they are not a read-write person, they are more kinesthetic. It's good to know if you can gauge what is their learning style. And then I think in this case, right, you need to understand what made them to be weak. Maybe you want to understand what happened at home. So this is where empathy building needs to come in. What was the cause of the problem? So is it like, they are not communicating the language at homes, or they are not being exposed reading storybooks, or they are not being exposed watching YouTubes, it's only one language that they speaks at home. So we want to know what is the source of the problem, because if you do not know the source of the problem, the action we take might not solve the problem, right? So maybe find out on that, okay? And if it's needed to speak to the parent, do speak to the parent. Even at the university, we do speak to the parent if we required to speak to the parent, especially for kids who has issues, and then you see from that. This is my personal experience, and then what I do with my kids is that I get them to read more. Because sometimes I realize they're very visual kids, so I ask them to play YouTube, see how they make stories. And the one thing that I learned is that when they watch TV, I make sure their subtitle is up. So they only not listen, but they're also reading the subtitles. So I tell them to read the subtitles. So because I wanted them to learn, my kids are a bit poor in bahasa, even though the mom speaks fluent bahasa. But so I put the subtitle in bahasa and ask them to pick up. So as time goes, they get better. All right. But I think in terms of writing like this, teacher probably, you need a one-to-one kind of guidance or session with the student. Means like it will be extra effort on the teacher. Maybe, stay extra 30 minutes after the school to guide them, as long as the parent give the support. Sometimes it's also difficult. Sometimes teachers' hand is very tight too, because parent does not support that journey. So we can do to an extent, but probably we cannot do all. But these are some things that I think we can do, because they learn a lot from stories. So maybe, when they get rewards, maybe you want to give the student a storybook, a simple storybook with simple sentences that, they got the book because of a reward. They did something good, and let them read on that storybook. And then maybe later they have to tell the story to the friends in the class. So it's very, how to say, the solution to our problem for today's generation, no longer like how during our generation or our parent generation. We just have to be creative and see how we can reach them, but using very unique ways. I think it is a challenge. So teacher, I acknowledge the challenge that you are facing, especially on the writing part. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Savita, for addressing this question. And I think it's boiled down to what's the learning style, and then what kind of methods we can guide them in terms of their perspective, so that we adapt to their perspective, their needs, and then the methods as well. So I agree with Dr. Savita. The movie method is very much very, very good method. The subtitles, because visual person or kinesthetic person, we really learn by doing, learn by seeing, something like that. Can even make them to do a drama or speaking, or speak out the essay and then write it out, something like that. Very, very, a lot of methods can explore and understand from their perspective first. Yeah. So I think
I would like to add another one. The recent one, my son's school, what they do in my son's class, they ask them to watch their movie. I think they was watching some cartoon, some movie, and then they have to write a script. Everybody has to have different character, and then they have to write a script, and they have to act on the script. So eventually, my son is standard 4, so he excited lah pergi Netflix tengok movie. Lepas tu, mommy, the movie got 8 characters, and they have project leader, they have someone, so they have to do job scope lah. Cikgu guided, very guided.
So there's the director.
Leader, got mask creator, so everybody have to wear mask. Got mask creator, got script writer. So it's very interesting, and then a poster writer, and then they has to write script, and then they have to remember at the script. If you see, all the learning style will be addressed here.
Yes, are included. Yes, in one like movie creation, there's director, there's script writer, all the learning style are included. So I think this is a very powerful method as well. Yeah. The movie creation, and then including the topic inside, characters creation. Yes, very, very interesting method. But of course, teachers have to be need some effort to create this activity, to guide them, to then have feedback from them, have a movie day, something like that.
Yeah, this is for
Yes.
English subject. If it's English, yeah.
Yes, language subject definitely applicable as well. Okay, so my side have two last questions for Dr. Savita to clarify for the teachers as well. So when we first met Dr. Savita, also like Dr. Savita showed some examples for us, like mind maps, different mind maps created from the students. So how does Dr. Savita actually guide your students to create mind map? You mentioned there's no specific way. So how does they go and explore their mind map, and then are they allowed to add on stuff in their mind map and stuff? How do they make it more personalized?
Okay, so I will. If you see just now, I show a sample step by step, right? How they should do the mind map. So part 1 and part 2. So they have to do after every mind map. After mind map, they have to do reflection. So what I do, I share example. So there are mind map that you can draw. There mind map. So I show different time mind map, and I ask them to explore it. So when I started at beginning, this is what I discover. So when I do first week, I told them everybody has to do this mind map. Means like only images, don't have all the text. And then the student will come back and tell me, Madam, I struggle with this mind map because I don't feel learning take place. I was forced to do it. Okay, so I realized, okay, so this student need a more detailed mind map. Okay, this student like the image. So then the following week, I tell student, okay, now you can do a mind map according to your preference. You want to put text, boleh. You nak buat circle, boleh. You want to draw pun boleh. Anything, but it must be a simplified information. Tak nak pula nanti dia pergi photo state the boot, tampar terus dalam mind map. Madam, mind map ni. Habis saya. So, we don't want to that. So, I tell them simplified. Cuba, is it in the images ke? Or is it you want to draw ke? Sebab I not a visual person kan? So my mind map, I cannot do those I think. In the book kan dia ada I think kan, ada circle dengan ni kan. That is not me. Okay, I like my mind map to be more information, more text. So my mind map is not in the diagram form. It's in more of bahagian according to the topic, and I write more things. So that is my mind map. But if I put that into my student who is visual, they're gonna have fever, So
Right.
So yeah, so I let to them. Yes.
The gist is that you let them explore first. So this method doesn't work, you change the method to suit your needs. And then after all, the mind map can still be used, and then they can write their own thoughts, their own new ideas to expand on the original idea on the mind map. So I think very, very rightly described from Dr. Savita is that it's like a living document that they carry with them, living notes or living documents that they carry with them. They can add on their ideas, they can expand the branches from the mind map, really, really personalized note from there. So teachers, especially like secondary school teachers can try out this method, let them explore what the learning notes, what is the learning notes that best suit them among the 10 techniques, like river flow or mind map, and then let them add their thoughts inside the mind map, right? Become
colors, yes. They can draw. Don't punish them if they draw a cartoon. It's okay. Because especially primary school students, they like marvels or they want to put a sticker. Let them. As long the main thing, remember, learning must take place. Just that everybody learn differently. We have to respect that. Yeah.
I think one last question from me is that just to understand from Dr. Savita's perspective, any challenging students that you have faced before, and then how do you dealt with it?
That is a very, very important question. Yes. Okay. I mean, I have 40 students. Do you think that all the 40 students will be 100% doing what I do? No, there will be rebellious kids in my class too. Okay. So it happens. Okay. So maybe out of 40 students, there will be 30 students who do it, and there will be 10 students very wayang-wayang tak buat kerja lah. Okay. Especially we're talking about I handle 21 years old kids. You guys probably handle 7 to 12. 7 to 12 kan kita boleh press lagi, dia masih boleh buat. Ataupun kita call dia punya mak, we can still do it. Just imagine I'm handling adult learner, they're 21 and above, they're 21 or 19. So it happens. So this is when I show them clearly how it will be graded and how this will influence their final marks. So I already tell them upfront, this one will help you to change your grade probably from fail to a D or from a B to an A. So please do it. So if they don't do it, or some of them I come across, I have this issue, all right? Let's be honest, I do face this kind of issue. Students who are not committed, they akan hantar tapi they just buat bulat-bulat few set word and then they send it, okay? So this is when I will punish them. So I will, minus their marks. I make sure that, so that's why I do progress assessment. So when they receive back, they know that they're being penalized for what they have done, and that will affect their marks. So if they want to make changes, they have another 5 more weeks to make the changes. If they choose not to make, I can't do anything much because they are an LDAT learner. So then I will let it be, and then the loss is on their side. Yeah.
So in summary is that you use the consequence-based method, so let them know the consequence. But after all, if let's say they decided to take on the consequence anyway, you'll focus your battle on those really like willing to learn from your side.
Yeah, I start with reward, but those difficult situation, then I will explain to them on the consequence of that. Yeah.
I see. So yes, I think that is very much of the Q&A session. Any like last questions from teachers, feel free to put it on. But if not, then we'll close this session with Dr. Savita already. So those teachers over here, 36 teachers who are still here, what do you think about today's session? Feel free to give a little bit feedback to Dr. Savita over here. Give 1 or 2 words, describe today's session to Dr. Savita. So I'm very grateful to meet Dr. Savita once again from Edu Summit 2 years ago. That was our first touch base, first meetup, really like inspired by you. And then yes, and today's once again a meaningful session by Dr. Savita. A lot of thoughts we actually like share with us, discuss, and yes, a news perspective came out from there, from our discussion. Yes, teacher Don Ali say it's fruitful. Teacher Irene give a love emoji right over there, like give Dr. Savita a bit appreciation. So once again, we thank Dr. Savita for coming in today, share with us so much knowledge, so much insights, and so much experiences that happening in your classroom. Hopefully teachers can take away some of it and apply in your classroom as well. Yes, teacher Rogaya say thank you. Teacher Ramziza say very beneficial. Yes, 1 or 2 words describe today's session to Dr. Savita as well, fellow teachers. So Dr. Savita, any final shout out to the teachers before we take a picture and before we end the session?
Final shout out. You are doing the best job in the world. All right. Be proud of yourself. Challenges comes and go. Just be open, be adaptable with the changes, and move forward. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for attending today's sharing session.
Thank you so much, Dr. Savita. A very powerful message. The starting already like make me feel very touched. You are doing the best job in the world, no doubt from me. Teachers over here, 36 teachers over here, Dr. Savita, and also 600 teachers in the Telegram group watching this, the recording later. You are doing the best job in the world. Pat in the back, and always be open, adapt to the new teaching methods, because that's how you become creative yourself, right? Yeah. And then you can like solve any problems that you have, because this is a very tough job, but you managed to ace it. Yeah. Right? So yes, thank you so much, teachers. Thank you so much, Dr. Savita, once again. Yes, teacher Helmihu Nasrita cakap banyak idea benar, sangat membantu, great job, thank you, thanks. Picked up and inspiring ideas and time well spent. So teachers, let's celebrate this moment together with Dr. Savita, and we take a very quick photo session, right? So boleh buka video, switch on your video for a moment. Let's do a very quick photo session with Dr. Savita and me over here, right? So teacher Elsie, Tirini, feel free to open up, switch on your camera. Yes, thank you. Before we end the session, yeah. After this, I have like one important announcement to make about the creative learning, because it is next week, right? Yeah, so stay tuned for the announcement as well. So buka video sementara waktu. So tak perlu solid lah, terus buka. No need to make up straight away. Switch on the camera, because you guys are all natural beauty. So we need nak senyuman manis, senyuman yang seri semua, cikgu. Okay ya. So sekarang saya akan buka satu screenshot. So boleh thumbs up ataupun love macam ni. Saya akan ambil 2 lah. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Second one, later I'll share in the Telegram group as well. And 1, 2, and 3. Yes, love or money, whichever you like, right? Okay, now, very, very, don't say goodbye yet. I have a final announcement to teachers, about the Creative Learning Score A Faber-Castell Olympic. So what is happening next week is that next week we'll have our first ever the banquet lah for your students. So the competition, don't forget, 2,500 ringgit cash prize up to grab for your students, primary school level, secondary school level, 10 to 12 years old, 13 to 16 years old, applying the 10 creative technique that taught by a few experts and also Jay, and then also how to apply it in the topics of green and sustainability. So this banquet is on next week, 3rd September. Next week, 3rd September. So ask your students to register. Okay. So I'll share the link right now for your students. So there are 2 different links. Satu untuk primary, yang kedua untuk secondary ya. Okay, semua sudah dalam group, nanti saya akan bagi sekali lagi. So workshop ini next week ada masanya dalam dalam form. So pukul 12.30 untuk siapa? Pukul 12.30 untuk primary school. Lepas tu pukul 3 pula untuk secondary school. So ingatlah untuk bagikan form ini kepada student anda untuk fill in. So remember, ask your student to register. Okay, next announcement very quickly. We have gone through like 4 sessions already today with Dr. Savita, and then previous 3 speakers as well. We have one last session left, which is Mr. Javier from Houston, United States will join us at 9:30 next week. So teacher, if let's say you are joining us next week, type in yes. If you are joining us next week with Mr. Javier, learning about different technologies that you can use, different software, different technologies, different methods you can use in your classroom, you can type in yes if you were to join us next week. Right? Yes. Thank you so much for your commitment. Yes, if let's say you haven't watched previous recording, remember to watch previous recording. After next week's session, we'll give you a form, satu borang untuk isi. Anda akan dapat sijil penyertaan, certificate of participation from all the 5 sessions itself. Okay? Alright, thank you so much, teacher. That is all the announcement that we have. And remember, next week, we'll see you for morning is the Mr. Javier session. Then afternoon is your students' workshop briefing. You can join as well, but most importantly, your students need to join us, right? Okay, so hopefully see your students next week and see you next week for the expert sharing session. Right, before we end, one last invitation from teachers, let's say if any, ada tak cikgu nak join saya, sembang sikit untuk bagi saya sikit feedback lah untuk session hari ini dan expert sharing session as a whole. Kalau ada, boleh buka video dan cakap okay lah macam tu. Ataupun type dalam chat cakap okay. Is there any volunteers that can stay back for 2 minutes? Mungkin Cik Aidam, lepas tu Cik Suryati, boleh stay back sekejap untuk share. Cik Suryati, Cik Suryati itu anak ke? Bukan cikgu. Puan Aidam, boleh stay back sekejap untuk bagi feedback. Kalau boleh cakap okay lah. Okay ya. Okay, so that is all from us. That is all from Faber-Castell. That's all from me. That's all from Dr. Savita. And hopefully to see you guys next week and see your students as well next week for the students briefing and workshop. Right, so thank you so much. You may proceed to leave the Zoom already. So goodbye to Dr. Savita. Take care, and hopefully we can have more sessions from you in the future, collaboration in the future. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. You may proceed to leave the Zoom and have a great lunch later and have a great weekend ahead. So goodbye, take care, and see you.